Oh my god. I just realized I was not streaming. LMAO. Okay. That's my bad. Sorry.
Alright.
I forgot to go live. We are now in the middle of a game here. So, whoopsie. Why did no one in chat tell me? Bruh. Alright, I'm blaming chat for this one. This is not my fault. I forgot. It's okay, it's been a week since I've streamed. Alright. Well, we'll just ignore the spiel that I did about Katsu and also the BNR. And we'll
do it again.
Yeah, I guess I'll have to do it again. Oh god. Yeah, ignore so this game doesn't count, right?
What's up?
This game doesn't count, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
The funny thing is I guess we get to warmongers them here.
The best part is like Arclight was like thumbnail is fire, right? And like
I
responded to that person.
Yeah, I responded to you like on camera. We're doing great, Rose. I forgot to start this stream, if I'm being honest. So it could have gone better, but that's okay.
All right, tell people that you're streaming now.
We are in fact streaming now.
Oh,
right.
we're actually. I'm gonna message him.
Yeah, we are actually streaming now. Very funny. All right, we do get the time walk off, which is at least nice. So a recap of this game. We got hit by 2 king sharks in a row. The one turn we did anything, we got tar pit, and then we blocked out a sleep dart, and then we got a gold from it. Next time, yeah, spam late next time. Unironically, that would probably help me. All right, Warmongers saves the day again, though. Okay, so what do we want to do?
If you don't see something, say something. How about that?
Yeah, if you don't see something, say something. I think I'm just going to start with the pain in the backside. Alright, I'll poke with the left one. I mean, we're just going to pop all our crap here, right? Let's do... Gust Wave's probably the most awkward. Get our bonds. Destroy the Breeze Riders, yes or no. Yes, I think we need to. Links? We need to do anything with links just yet. Links can let us... I think what links actually does. I guess we don't have to do it just yet. Hello, friend. Alright, let's go ahead and do the Gust Wave. But yeah, next time I'm not on stream like within like 15 minutes. Pretty good. Let's do... We can like retrace name, retrace dishonor. I guess it's dishonor. Dishonor is still pretty good against Marlin, right? Yeah, I probably should just go for a dishonor line here. So we need to name this descendant. Or no, we need to get a descendant. How does this work? I'm confused. We do Gust. Do we already play a descendant? No, we have not, right? We need to name this descendant somehow. And then do dishonor also somehow? I don't think this works, right? We need to get another retrace off of mask. I think that's what it is. So if we do descendant, I think I'm gonna go for the dishonor line. Okay, so we do pop the mask, get another retrace. Then we do Gust Wave, Surging Descendant. No, this still doesn't work. I thought this was better than it was. Maybe I should have just gotten Salt in that case. Huh, interesting. Because this won't have the +2 on it. We named that Descendant. Oh, that's what it was. No, sorry, hold on. We need to undo. Sorry. We need to name this one. Sorry, one more time. Or one more time. Okay. We name... Alright. One more time. We named this one Descendant, right? This one becomes Descendant. Then this one becomes the Bonds, and then the Bonds is active for Dishonor. Okay. I think we figured it out. Whether or not that's actually like good though is anyone's guess. It might have just been better to get Salt there. But this does force two, or at least it forces Sea Lace plus card. Yeah, it's probably still not worth. I guess it's mildly fine. I think Salt's still like better there. Maybe we're just supposed to push damage. But yeah, we'll see. But we are just chilling. All right, we got the catch of the day. 5 gold does not bode particularly well for us. Okay, there's the last 3 oak. Definitely pretty good. Hope they whiff. Yeah, that doesn't look like a whiff. I think we're cooked. That's fine though. Unlucky, unlucky. I think we actually probably could have gotten the game. That being said, does the salt actually... I don't think the salt kills there, though. This unfortunately will kill us, though. Almost assuredly. We can block Empowerment plus... And then I guess they take the last 2 cards in our hand. I mean, there's like no way they break off 7 gold, right? Or like 8 gold, basically. Pretty good. Well, the Marlin's having fun, and that's what matters. They're cooking us pretty good here, though. Alright. Sorry for the stream issue. I forgot to click start. Alright. Let's go ahead and block Cluster. We will finish this game, though, for the sake of letting the Marlin have fun. But yeah, how is everyone doing in chat? Welcome in. We do have a new B&R, which I'm excited to talk about for the second time. So we get to do that twice. That's fun. And we also get to watch a pretty good Marlin high roll here. But yeah, I'm excited about the Katsu list for today. Ooh, we got Withering. This is like an old list. Very cool. I guess they may just slot in the Cheating Scoundrels over like the 3 meds or something. Kind of makes sense. I'm just gonna let them have this one. Cheers. Yeah, seems about good. All right, but hey everyone, welcome in. So I forgot to turn on the stream because I was eating, and then I had the post dinner kind of brain fart. But now we're streaming, we're live, so welcome in. And we have a new B&R, so this is actually pretty exciting. Although that being said, I do think that there are going to be a lot of standout decks that are gonna still be pretty good, I think, as a result of this. So immediate ones. So I guess we'll start with the unbanned. So we got Amulet of Ice, Rake the Embers, and Rootbound unbanned. So these are all pretty good. Rake the Embers does mean Dromai is definitely a bit better. It also probably helps into her kind of rougher matchups, like Guardian is probably going to be a little bit better for her. We'll have to kind of see how that shakes up, but definitely pretty good alongside, I guess, it's kind of some of the other kind of meta shakeups, which are going to be pretty cool as well. You're hyped for the Ice Amulet unbanned? Yeah, it's gonna be pretty... So, this card is interesting to me, because, who actually... I guess it's just Icelander who plays this. I don't think you play this in Oldhim, right? I could be wrong. But it doesn't really feel like an Oldhim card. But I guess we get Amulet of Ice for Icelander, which is pretty sick. That being said, I don't know how much that actually, buffs her. It could definitely be good. But we'll kind of have to see. And then we also have the Rootbound Carapace unban, which I think makes Stack Florian kind of a little bit more viable. That being said, I think it's still TBD whether or not that deck can actually end up being KO, who is ostensibly untouched from this ban list. We lose Sirens of Safe Harbor and KO, which is a hit, I guess, but not that impactful, I think. Yeah, just Icelander, I think makes sense. Yeah. But anyways, ban list is super interesting. So Briar got hit pretty rough. Bracers of Belief also getting banned. Did Briar actually end up running Bracers? I can't remember.
She did, yeah.
Did she? Okay, so Briar loses one of her offensive tools. I think Briar's one of the only heroes that actually ran Bracers though. Is there any other matchup that actually ran Bracers of Belief? I don't believe there was. It makes Ice Eternal better result. That actually kind of makes sense. We're losing Bracer of Belief, losing Lightning Press, and losing Burn Up Shock from Icelander, which are all kind of pretty insane hits, or pretty insane nerfs to Briar. And we're also not really seeing a ton that's getting touched from the KO side. And KO, I think, is also one of like the kind of more predominant aggro decks at the moment. So we're only basically losing Sirens to Safe Harbor, so red and yellow. I don't even know if KO actually ran the yellow copies. This does definitely hurt, I guess, Terra. Like, I guess we were running like 6 copies of Sirens, which is definitely pretty good. But I think that Terra has a lot more ways to like kind of get around it, and you're also kind of like making up for the Sirens by DGA being a lot weaker with the ban of Steelblade Chant, which is actually probably a huge upgrade for Terra, at least in that matchup. And then we also see Spindle ban, which is kind of an interesting one to me. I feel like Spindle was not like the most powerful card in Kano's kit. It was definitely like a good card, but like I don't know if it was like the best card, right? Like losing Emeritus, I think would hurt definitely a lot more, or like losing like Unyielding Grip or something like that. But maybe they want to hold off on like banning those. Like I know they did just do the full art Emeritus and stuff, and they also did like the like Unyielding Grip is obviously from the set as well. So maybe this felt like low hanging fruit for kind of the ban list. I think these bans are all like pretty reasonable. That being said, KO getting untouched is definitely gonna, I think, ruffle the meta a little bit. So it does feel like KO is still probably the predominant aggro deck. Although maybe like if Dromai can figure out a way to deal with KO, maybe that gets a little bit better. But yeah, we'll kind of have to see. Definitely an interesting shakeup. There are definitely some cards that I think also probably should be on this at some point, like maybe the yellow 4 blocks, or I'm trying to think what else. I think I also said like Astral Etching should probably be banned, but I don't know. Maybe Astral's not actually that big of a problem. But anyways, today what we're going to be doing is playing Katsu, which I guess you saw on the tail end of that game. But yeah, we're going to be playing Katsu, so we're going to be trying the new card Windcutter, which was our spoiler card for the season, which is really cool. And people have been... So when I initially spoiled this card, I think that the first couple messages I saw in Purple Chat were saying, like, this card is trash, this is just, like, some weird draft chaff or whatever. But a lot of, like, the better Katsu players, I think, are running this card, at least in some capacity. So I think there are a lot of different options with this card. You can either treat it as, like, a main deck card where you don't have anything, like, switch out to and from, so you're just like doing the mono Kadachi thing, which I think is reasonable. There's also people who are doing like the kind of like hybrid list between like Kadachis and Edge of Autumn. That being said, there's a lot of sideboard spaces, so I think it's a little bit prohibitive right now, but it could still be good. And then there's also, I guess, the like swapping like Windcutter and also kind of like breaking skills. So in like some of the matchups where I think Windcutter is like a little bit slower, like I think into like Oscilio and in general into like other kind of like aggro decks, like maybe into KO. I think that setting up the shurikens definitely can be like a little bit kind of hard to do, especially like against like higher armor heroes. Having the option, I think, of a breaking skills on the board does make a fair bit of sense. But yeah, we're going to be basically running this mono Kadachi list because I think there are some pros and cons to running Edge. Mainly that I think you are a little bit better into aggro. But I think there's like a downside in terms of like deck construction. Like you basically get to like you basically lose out on a lot of like sideboard space, which I think is pretty valuable right now. But anyways, we're gonna be playing this list. I think most of this is like a hybrid between a couple lists I saw coming out of was Calling Montreal. So I think I basically was just like scanning through some purple Discord deck lists. So I think I was looking at like Blazing for Lethal's deck list. I think there's also like some YouTube list I was like Floating Dojo. I think that's the name of their channel. But looking at like a couple different lists for inspiration, and I think I kind of came on this list. So I think like 15 blues, which I think is about right. Are good yellows, so like Descendant, Salt, Searching. One evolving, pretty nice. And then just kind of like a nice little red base here. So Pain in the Backside, Cut Through. These are kind of like the two standout cards for me. Just having like the Gogan option is really nice, and then also just having like a 0-3 head jab with upside is also quite nice. But yeah, the biggest upgrades to this deck, also in addition to like the Windcutter, which we're running like 3 main deck shurikens, is also getting the option to run Become the Bottle, which is really nice. So this card becoming another Gust Wave is really, really solid. And then we're also getting to run Tigrean Reflex, and this card is basically kind of insane, right? So the way I described this in the few seconds from the stream where I was like not live is basically that this card is like a +1 draw on hit draw card if you have like not activated Katsu yet, which is really cool. So you basically, for those of you who don't know, you basically do like +1, you discard, create the Crouching Tiger in hand, discard it to Katsu, and then you functionally have just drawn a card because you're discarding like a fluff card basically. So really, really cool card, especially for Katsu. I think also kind of neat in Zen, although I think it's like actually kind of worse in Zen. But like you can kind of like combo it, I guess, with like Art of War and stuff and like LL or whatever, which makes it a little bit better, I think. But yeah, really, really sick card. I think it actually does really kind of glue a lot of the cards in the deck together, which is really awesome. So just having another empowerment in the decks, I think, real good. But yeah, pretty much it. We are running like a kind of sparing sideboard, nothing like too crazy here. So I do still like the double remembrances. Tunic, I'm basically only running for like Jarl and like Pleiades, basically. So not a ton of applications, but I do think it does help in Jarl quite a bit if they're running like Summit. So niche application there, and then like Tenacity sometimes comes in. People have apparently liked Command and Conquer in some recent Katsu lists, which is pretty cool. So I'm running it as like a 2 of, but that might change. And then Warmonger is mainly just for Dash IO and what was the other deck? Sorry, I can't remember off the top of my deck or top of my head. Vincent, I guess, also as well might help. But yeah, the sideboard is pretty simple, nothing too crazy. But anyways, yeah, with that out of the way, let's go ahead and get bodied, I guess, by another Marlin. I'm glad you guys didn't see the beginning of the game, because the beginning of the game, I think I got hit by with like 2 or 3 king sharks in a row. So that was fun. All right, Huntsman. Yeah, what do I want to do? First or second? I think first is still probably correct. It's bringing our remembrances, bringing our CNCs, and then tenacities. Kind of bad, to be honest. I think I'm not a fan of tenacity. You can also just bring it in as a yellow, which I guess is maybe fine. Yeah, sure, let's run it like this. So I think we're just going to start with some Kadachis here. Try to maybe get a Shuriken out and then maybe like end on a CNC. I guess we'd have to like pitch our whole hand to do that. So, okay, looks like they're just going to give a shelter here. That's fine. Kind of want to just like throw this at them just so they can't like resolve like a hunter hunted. I think that seems reasonable. If we can like strand them with a bunch of like D-Rex in hand, I think I'm like kind of happy with that, because that means their like first turn's probably not going to be very good. Okay, I think those are reasonable trades. I do like to have the empowerment in Arsenal. That being said, this hand is definitely going to be a little bit painful, especially if they start off on the surgical here. That being said, we can go ahead and just cash in our Breeze Riders, but we might be in a little bit of trouble. Yeah, if we like lose the remembrance, this is gonna be like pretty rough. That being said, we do have another one, so maybe not the end of the world. All right, they do have the cut, so a little unfortunate here. We'll kind of see what they take here, I guess. I assume it's probably not worth just racing back. If they want to take the remembrance, I think I'm fine with that. We do still have a redundant one, so not the end of the world. And if they don't take it, I think that's also fine. Alright, I'm going to take the Shuriken instead, which is interesting. What do we want to do here? I just get a Gust Wave in the bin. I think that's like semi-reasonable. Could also try to go for like Gust Wave empowerments, but I don't really love that. Seems like they're playing definitely like a bit more of like a disruptive Arachne deck, like maybe less kind of D-React slop. We'll have to see. So we could empowerment this and maybe just grab our first bonds. They want to try to keep their hand. I think maybe that's actually the play. Okay, unfortunate. So I guess we don't get the Katsu trigger, but they might actually respect this. Okay, seems like not. So a little bit unlucky on the draw off the top. That's not the end of the world. And yeah, I guess we're just going to go ahead and stop here. Let me go ahead and turn this off. Probably forget those later, but... not skip that arsenal. Alright, doing a good job drawing our shurikens, which is kind of funny. Leave no, definitely painful. I think we just like do have to keep blocking though, which kind of sucks. Maybe we did actually want the reacts in this matchup. I feel like fat decking too much in this matchup is like kind of bad. think I do just want to deny the black text if possible, though. Let's go ahead and do this, and if they want to like pump and mess me up, I think that's fine. But we do need to make them have it, I think. Okay. They have it twice in a row. Fair enough. Makes sense to me. So what we can do now, at least, is hopefully play out the Silverwind Arsenal Surging Strike, but we're kind of getting rolled here. I guess it depends kind of what the follow-up is here. But yeah, pretty good start from them. I think we'll just take this. Sure, it can pass. Do we choose to go first in this matchup? Maybe we still just want to go second just to have like a turn of tempo. Probably better, right? So you get to buy back the black text. Pretty good. Our hand's like kind of nuts though, as long as we can avoid kind of getting our hand blown up again. Let's see what pass? Okay. Alright, but we're cooking now. Okay, so what do we want to do instead? So I guess this is not the cross strap turn, right? So this means their hand's like almost all D reacts or something like that, right? Okay, we can definitely... I'm very glad that they just kind of passed turn there. It's pretty good for us. Because we do just have the natty line into Arsenal Surging, which is great. So very happy to see this. Right, it seems like maybe like Oasis plus a couple of D-Reacts or something like that. So I think this is definitely kind of like the hand we kind of needed here. So we have one Shuriken still left in the deck, which means I'm kind of maybe fine just trying to threaten this if they just give us 4 here. What does card do for us, though? I mean, it basically can do anything for us, right? I guess the question is whether or not we want to try to press the Shuriken. I've seen one shelter, so other shelters are slightly unlikely. I feel like if our hand was better, I'd be a lot more excited about this. The fact that they're also not respecting it is like a little bit suspect, but I think I'm still supposed to go for it. Feels weird, but it's maybe correct still. Okay, they did have the shelter. That is fair. Not the end of the world, though. I mean, we still do just have the natty line, which is good, and then we get to Arsenal the Surging, which is great. Yeah, maybe they were kind of like baiting me to do that, but I think that's still like worth going for. And if we get to them to like discard shelter, I think that's like kind of an okay trade for us. So yeah, kind of fine with this. Again, they might be giving up tempo here, assuming that they don't have a codex or something that they can like easily play out. All right, and they're just gonna pass. That's great. So now, what do we want to do on this hand? I want to just like discard the Dishonor here. So we should... I think it's still not cross-strap time yet. Because we have the blues to actually like pay for it. How many Surgings do we have in the deck? We still have a couple other ones. Maybe it still is cross-strap time. Just because we kind of want to Kodachi to get the Windcutter online. Yeah, I think this is maybe a scenario where you have to like use it, or we might never get the chance. Like if they disrupt us like multiple turns back to back, I think it could be a little bit rough to try to use the cross strap there. I think I kind of like going for it. Now let's follow up. I guess we probably should have Kodachi first, but that's my bad. So let's do maybe like Kodachi Dishonor here or something like that. Hope they don't have another shelter. Yeah, I think the line here was Kodachi, pain the backside, then play the like crack cross strap, do that maybe. All right, let's go ahead and get our last shuriken out. Okay, there's Hunted or Hunted, which is oh shit. Okay, so I've not played this matchup actually at all, which is funny. So maybe they're we were actually supposed to hold the Windcutter back for the next chain link. I don't know if we are ever going to get like real prior to do that, but that is something we have to be pretty careful about, right? That is actually kind of hilarious because we actually shuffle our deck from this. We should actually be pretty careful about doing that. Okay, it hits nasty, which is like probably not the worst case scenario to be honest, but definitely like a hit for sure. All right, so that's something I actually need to learn. So Windcutter being a shuffle effect is actually kind of nasty. I think we can still use it even if we don't have a target though, right? That's kind of cool. All right, anyways, we learn new things every day. So now what do we want to do next? Probably just surging, whelming. Maybe throw Kadachi at the end or like hold open our shuffle. I do want to like hold on to this remembrance, I think, if I can. Let's start with the surging from Arsenal, I guess. May try to save the red surging for a better turn. But that is, I guess, one interesting new piece of tech against Hunter or Hunt is just having like the shuffle effect is pretty cool. So now we get to punish with the whelming here, which is nice. So they need to have a 0 for 4 to block here. All right, we've seen 2 shelters as well. So the question, I guess, is do we want to try to go for it? This would be the last chance, or the last shelter or something. I think we still make them do it, though. I think there is some merit to keeping them off tempo, I feel like. All right, so let's draw the card off the whelming first. Looking for a 0 cost. Okay, that's perfect. Now let's use the Katsu ability. We're never discarding remembrance here, I don't think. Right? I think we just can't do. Get our bonds, and then bonds will get could get dishonor if we just want to like a random crappy blue. I think is reasonable. And I think we're gonna end up shuffling the 2 bonds back in the deck, is my guess. Or maybe we could do like 1 bonds. Oh, but I guess we did miss out on a Kadachi activation. That's fine, though. So maybe if we wanted to get Dishonor, we probably should have gotten something else. Okay, this is fine then, I think. So we get to even out the life totals a little bit. We get full tempo. Things could be worse. All right, let's go into Remembrance back. What do we want to get? I think... Oh, we could actually just get back to Shurikens. Is that too cute? Getting 1 Shuriken back might actually be kind of funny. Huh, interesting. I did not actually consider that that's a valid line, but I think that is kind of real. I don't even like me getting the 2nd bonds back as well. We have to find the other bonds again. I guess maybe leaving 1 bonds is probably still correct, right? Let's maybe get back... I'm feeling maybe just like a Surging Strike. Yeah, let's run it like that. I think there's a couple of considerations there. All right, this hand's a little bit weaker. But we can kind of still make it work. So I think we're just going to pitch the Surging for later. Try to follow up with the Gust Wave and then maybe try to get another Bonds online. Okay, cool. Giving us cards. Seems good. Hopefully, maybe looking to buy a couple more cards here. Oh, that's sweet. We missed Remembrance and A reacts to put the Shuriken out and put into play with the 1 floating. Oh, shit, you're right. Oh, we could have Remembrance back, put it into the... Oh my god, I didn't even consider that. Okay, that's actually really sweet. So yes, so Arclight PH brings up a really good point in that we had the 1 floating that 1 turn, and we also had the Remembrance in our hand, so what we could have done... Oh, sorry. I did not mean to grab the bonds there. That's my bad. I was playing the bonds. But yeah, what we missed there was basically... let's also get Dishonor, because it's funny. We missed, since we have Remembrance in our hand, what we could have done was activated Windcutter, tutored the last Shuriken that we, like, shuffled back. I didn't even, like, think about that, but that's actually, like, a very funny play. It seems like they're just going to block this, which is fine. But yeah, it's definitely a sneaky combo that I guess I missed. Alright, just a Plunder, which I think we're okay just taking. Alright, and a Katsu. Sure. Alright, so that is the last cut to the chase. So it's looking like a little bit more of like an aggressive Arachne. Alright, so getting this over back seems good. So I think we want to try to use this Tigrine Reflex this turn. Maybe get another, our like last bonds, and then our last remembrance can maybe shuffle back all 3 of them, or something like that. That seems pretty good. Alright, so we'll go with the Tempest Palm. I still just love Tempest Palm, this deck. So I think we're not supposed to use Windcutter until like the very last chain link. But we should probably T-Green Reflex. The only issue is if they go for like a 0 for 4 react, then I guess it could be a little bit awkward. But they do have to kind of do something here. Alright, so I guess we should maybe just use Katsu now. We have like a good go again target in the bin. Yeah, we could just get our last bonds and then do what? Yeah, I guess let's go ahead and just Katsu. So we'll discard the Tigrine and then get the bonds. I guess the question is, what are we getting off the bonds? I might want to turn these on, to be honest, because this might be the turn. So I probably should have actually probably cracked that preemptive, but we're playing on Talishar. So let's get Sonar's gone. Yes. I never felt so dumb playing Fab as when I tried to learn Katsu. Don't worry, we're feeling dumb together. So it's all good. It's all just one learning process, you know? So let's go and get maybe... God, I don't even know what I want here. Maybe just another Gust Wave is fine. Are you ever on Mom, or is Lynx just the go-to now for that one big spike turn? I think Lynx is just kind of like the obvious auto-include. For me, at least. Let's go ahead and pop both of these, though. So destroy the Breezies, destroy the Lynx. Go ahead and grab the Salt, I guess. And I think we're just going to go for a big turn here. So Gust Wave time into another Gust Wave into Salt to hopefully finish it up. If they ever go for a Hunter hunted, we do have the Windcutter to kind of offset that, which is really cool. So we learned a lot in this matchup, I guess, which is kind of funny. So the question now becomes, I guess there's kind of like a little bit of mind games here. Okay, if they're only keeping 1 card, then I guess there's no real mind games. But if they did end up having 2 cards in hand, I guess the question is like, do I go for the Windcutter? But now I think it's pretty obvious, I guess, to go for it. So we're running a little bit low on cards, but we do still have another Remembrance. That being said, they're going to Codex us, which is rude. I think I like CNC here, just because they're playing Huntsman, which is a little bit susceptible to it. Then what do we want to do? I guess they do still have the Graven Glove, so it's not like super free. The Windcutter's basically served its purpose at this point. Okay, looks like they maybe just passed. But I think the black was actually maybe like Ancestral plus Windcutter. So let's see like what other cards I guess they had left at this point. So we still had a couple of reacts to work through, but it looks like they were on like all red and yellow copies of the Cuts to the Chase, which is kind of interesting. But yeah, I guess we got there in the end. I think they still have like at least a little bit of game. That being said, like Kadachi has maybe become a little bit problematic at some point. I don't think they're like fully out of that game just yet. And then I do think we still have that one Remembrance back in the deck. So okay, overall, not too bad. I think we learned actually a couple interesting things in this matchup, like that kind of make it a bit good for us. So Windcutter being a shuffle effect is really good. Having Remembrance as a shuffle effect is also really good. I don't know. I'm still like kind of a proponent of Remembrance into these like big fatigue matchups, but we'll have to see. But yeah, overall, the deck is definitely kind of cooking. So let's see if we can get another. Let's try this one. All right, who am I going first or second into? I guess we're playing Bolton, apparently. Make our own game. Excuse me. All right, we got an Oscilio. I think this is basically the reason to play Katsu, or like one of the more compelling ones. So I think we just run the main 60 and don't bother with the Warmongers. I'm pretty sure that's correct. Because Warmongers doesn't really stop the Gauntlet Flash turn. I think we just want to aggro this matchup as hard as we can. See how it goes. I could also see the Warmongers being correct, but like, I don't think you need it, to be honest. All right. Sigil start, pretty good. Okay, I do like filter pass if that's all they're gonna do. So how do we want to start this one off? I think it's probably gonna start with Tempest Palm Gustwave, maybe trying to look for like a retrace into Whelming. I definitely like how much they're filtering here. Maybe signifies their hand's like kind of bad. I'm actually not sure if this is a Shuriken matchup or a Breaking Scales, but I feel like this is one of those matchups where you kind of do have to go a little bit faster, so running the scales makes a bit of sense to me. To be determined, though. Again, I've not really played this deck, like, religiously. This is kind of just, like, my overall kind of vibes, I guess, kind of based on a couple other people's deck lists. So, I think it's a pretty good starting point, though. But yeah, the Gust Wave with the Empowerment should be quite annoying here. But anyways, how's everyone doing in chat? Let me know what your hot BNR takes are. I know I certainly have a couple of them. So I think we're not supposed to react here, just in case. So, like, we should see if they have, like, a cloud cover here. Okay, now we react. Because I think we're kind of, like, okay just, like, discarding that, if that's the case. Bonds is a great hit, though. Actually, not... Bonds is still fine. We just have to, like, discard the Whelming here. So, not the end of the world. We can do, like, retrace. Huh, it's kind of interesting here. We actually... So we can pop the mask here to threaten the card, draw off the Whelming. It's tempting. But I think it's probably still better to me just take a sap turn and arsenal the bonds. I think we're not going to pop links just yet. I think we're going to be a little patient. So let's use the Katsu ability, discard the Whelming, grab the bonds, and then I guess we're just going to end on the Whelming, which is like a little lackluster. Noticing one thing though, like we do have the one floating resource, so we could have theoretically activated the Windcutter here if we wanted to. So I'm curious, if we get like two floating resources, that might be the sign that maybe we do run Windcutter in this matchup, but I do think this matchup gets pretty fast, so maybe to be determined on that one. Looks like their hand like just does not block super well though, which is probably a good sign for us. Oh yeah, I do think that Mask of Momentum does definitely help into Prism, I think. That's one matchup where we're probably going to miss it a little bit, but I think our board into Prism is like already pretty bad. Like I think we just have the two Command and Conquerors and the Flicks, and that's basically it. So I don't think that matchup's like particularly good right now. I mean, maybe meta dependent, like if you took it to a Pro Quest, you have a bunch of Prisms running around, maybe you can make the space. I think that's reasonable. I do think that there's going to be a large uptick in Vincent, though, after that calling. Did everyone see that? Definitely one of the cooler callings, I think, in recent memory. Having Vincent Dio finals was pretty sweet. But yeah, that deck seemed very, very strong. I expect a lot of people to be kind of inspired by the Vincent now. Should be interesting. So I think this is actually one of those hands where we just probably want to rip it. If they end up mind warping us, I think I'm like fine with that. So I'm just gonna give them the armor block so that we can maybe use it next turn. It looks like they cycled a Blink. Fine. Yeah, Blink's not particularly good with flittering, notably. It seems maybe like what they're kind of doing here is just digging as hard as they can for a Dawn on a Flash or something just to try to set up the turn. I think it's reasonable. Alright, so here's the game plan, basically. We're going to crack Cross Trap for Surging Strike. They could block it, which is fine. And then we need to hope that they don't block the Fluster Fist. Alternatively, what we can do is we can use the blue here for pitch and then not get greedy and go for the Kadachis. But I guess we can always use the blue for pitch after the Surging Strike, right? I'm not sure if the deck is super consistent now, if it was just running hot, but those Vin games were wild. I know, those Vin games were like so good. like having access to 6 copies of Cole is a thing that I did not think about, but that is like terrifying, right? And like you kind of saw like her performance, like she was just ripping through most like marionettes. I think she was doing pretty well against Oscilios. Like it seemed like that deck list could just like stomp out like aggro combo whatever just like super easily, which is very very cool. All right, we're gonna just pop all our shit here, I think. Yeah, seems good. Dishonor's notably not great into Oscilio, so like I'm debating between like which one of these I want to cycle. So let's crack our breezies. So we definitely need to get a gust wave. I guess the question is like, what are we getting rid of here? Pop our links, getting. I think we want to retrace. And then what is the play from here? You can get a whelming from the graveyard, retrace into fluster. So we discard fluster, get descendant, I believe. Get red descendant. Okay, I think this makes sense. It seems like a pretty good turn, I do have to say. That being said, they are playing Oscilio, so very easily could pull together their own turn here. But yeah, that Vin card, like the new Runegate card, is very very impressive. I was not aware that that was like a thing you could do with Cole. Like I kind of assumed that it was like too slow or something, but I guess it just seems like it's like very consistent that they can kind of do that. But yeah, very very cool. All right, let's go ahead and get the bonds. Grab our whelming here, I believe. Tempest Palm, I guess, is the same. Might as well just get the Tempest Palm, I guess. Yeah, sure. Get the Tempest Palm. Then we have Dishonor with Go again, which is great, into Tempest Palm, Retrace Fluster. So they should probably be cooked here. Probably looking to use the Breaking Scales at some point. Gonna have to see. But this is probably one of the more, I guess, compelling reasons to play Katsu right now. Is just your Oscilio matchup feels very, very good. So now let's go for the Tempest Palm into Retrace Fluster. That should basically kill them. I mean, they're still alive, but they're not, like, doing so hot. Open center. I think we found the line, though. What is this coming in for? This is coming in for 9? Seems pretty good. Or, like, functionally 10 if we want to use breaking. Which I don't think is necessary here. I think we can just go ahead and pass back to them and see what they can do in 2 turns. But yeah, pretty solid stuff. Hand's pretty good next turn if we do manage to keep it. That being said, we have not seen any mind warps, so fully expecting a shuffle effect maybe at this point, but hopefully we can at least kind of chip them down with Kodachis to the point where they can't keep a ton of cards here is kind of my goal. The Vincent Pen card also seemed to help with consistency, grabbing extra whales too. Oh, that's actually kind of a good point as well. I know that like Cole is like the high roll combo or whatever, but it does seem like pretty good to just like chain whales back to back. Like I think that's definitely an issue that they probably had. But yeah, pretty overwhelming. Oh, so it looks like they did have the mind warp, but maybe just no lightning to actually buff it. Looks like they just didn't find their lightning sigils. So a little bit of an unfortunate draw, at least from their side. Oh, Voltic Veil. Huh. Weird. But anyways, it seemed like a pretty overwhelming showing from the Katsu side, at least. All right, let's go ahead and see if we can get another. But yeah, I guess one of the more compelling reasons to, I guess, play this deck. Let's try the Dio matchup. So the Dio matchup definitely does feel a little bit weird. We'll give it a shot. So I think this is not a Windcutter matchup, which is weird. So let's bring in our Warmongers, cut our... Hunter's still pretty good, so we're cutting our Shurikens again, which is sad. And Flick is whatever. I think we just run it like this. I do like the fact that we can like slot the Warmongers in with the Shurikens. It does feel very clean. Not saying it's particularly good. Like, I do think that Warmongers is like one of those like kind of borderline cards where it's either like close to being good or just like not quite good enough. Ooh, but we do have I guess the opening warmongers in the start. I guess the question is like, do we even want to do it though? We could also just do like Yell Harmony and see what's up. Okay, yeah, let's just Yell Harmony and see what's up. That's probably the perfect hit there. I might actually be trying to arsenal this warmongers, which is funny. All right, this is why people come watch me play Ninja. It's because I just always rip off the harmony. That's what it's all about. This right here, true flesh and blood. And the best part is we just have double empowerment as well. Kind of nasty. All right, well, let's go ahead and use one of them at least. All right, Blue Fuster. That's our bin target. Let's see if we can find something else maybe. All right, Bonds will do. Is this good though? It's fine, I guess. I don't know. So, I think we are discarding the Fluster. Okay, I think I see the line. So we discard the Fluster, or oh, wait, I might pass through. Sorry, too fast. All right, so we discard the Fluster. I think we're just grabbing another 100 wins in this case, right? Let's chain them together and then just slam out the Warmonger's Arsenal Bonds. Pass. I think that seems reasonable. Pretty good turn to start it off with, though. Can't really complain. We got some good graveyard fodder. Stripping some cards out of their hand, and then ending on the Warmongers, which is pretty good. Seems solid. This does mean that they cannot hit items off the top, and also like, so they can hit all items off the top, but they can't like attack us and then also hit the items off the top, which is kind of fun. All right, this hand is gonna need another Ancestral Harmony help here, I think. That being said, I guess we do have the Breeze Riders though, so it's not too bad, I think. But it is very nice that they can't hit items here like a Boom Grenade or set up like a Cerebellum or whatever. So definitely still happy with this, I think. So I think our plan here is we want to maybe just cash in the armor, try to go to town. I think we are playing the Ancestral Harmony. Or no, we can't play the Ancestral Harmony because we are under Warmongers. That is something we have to be careful of. So we cannot play this out notably, which means that I guess we're just like giving them the blues here. I guess we can maybe show them the reflex in that case, but then they would take the reflex, which is awkward. I guess I'll show them like Winds of Eternity and see what they do. Like they might just take the other Warmongers if they're not thinking carefully enough. But yeah, this hand kind of sucks. Okay, they do take the Warmongers, which is good. Not to say that that's like the wrong choice, by the way. Like from their perspective, it might be correct. But I think I kind of still like if they don't respect the Winds of Eternity, might be able to like pop the Breeze Rider Boots and just kind of go to town. So let's go ahead and start with some Kadachis, I think. So we start with Kadachis, we do end on Winds of Eternity, hope they don't block, and then we Tigerine Breeze Rider Boots into like Gust Wave, Bond stuff, kind of like Fluster or whatever. It's pretty good. Could even pop our links if we want to get like Assault. I think that's also pretty reasonable. But yeah, I wonder if they actually do end up respecting this. Like, it feels pretty bad to give a card here, but they maybe give like armor or something. Seems pretty good. I do think that a couple things this deck still kind of needs are just like more kind of go again sources. Like sometimes the Winds of Eternity is like so awkward as kind of like we're seeing here. Like you do still sometimes get these hands that are just like crappy Katsu hands. But yeah, we'll go for the reflexes here. Off topic, I want my cards back in the next BNR. What cards did you lose? You want your Scorch Rose, what do you play? I'm kind of curious. But yeah, how did the BNR personally affect you? It's I guess the question on everyone's mind. Oh, you want your chart back? Oh, okay. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I think that's like kind of reasonable.
Me too.
Yeah, TNT wants it back too. Let's go ahead and get. I think we just want the first descendant here. The funny thing is here we can pop our links for salt, which would be coming in for 8, which is probably fine. I don't want to show them the salt right away. If they want to like block out the last chain link, I think I'm like kind of fine with that. Yeah, I think like charts like are, I don't know. It's like a reasonable unban. I feel like semi-reasonable. It's like chart was like such a dumb card, but like it was also like kind of fair a lot of the time. I don't know. I have like
totally fair because it usually just hits conquerors.
Yeah, if it hits 2 conquerors, it's pretty bad, right? But I don't know. It being like a blue swell that like you don't have to pay for is awkward, I guess. I don't know. I think there's like a really compelling reason to like unban it though. I don't think it's like completely out of the question. All right, links time. Grab our salt here. Go ahead and cash in the damage. And the Dio gets like 1 real turn to actually kind of play the game here. Yeah, Rake is a pretty sweet unban. I think that's like also pretty reasonable for Dromai. Like Dromai, I feel like did struggle. She didn't really struggle in like aggro, but I think she does still kind of struggle into like brute. It kind of seems like so, like giving her Rake, I think is like fair. Oh, we're just gonna draw the Natty again, which is kind of sick. So I guess we have that going for us. So we discard the Fluster, get another Gust Wave. So Surging Descendant, Bonds gets Bonds, this gets Gust Wave, then we're chilling. Alright, I suppose we will give them the Heart and Cross Trap block. This blocking 0 is always hilarious to me. I don't know. It's so funny when they have like block values. I feel like their templating now is like they shouldn't have block values. I don't know what the difference between that'd actually be kind of like a good dev question. I don't know if they probably answered this before, but like why do they have some equipment that has a 0 block value versus like the null block value? I guess like they have on I guess that Dio doesn't have it. But you know what I'm talking about, right? Like the null block value versus 0. It feels like it's almost like exclusively designed for T-Bone, which is kind of hilarious. But maybe not. We'll see. Okay, max speed. All right, there. That was definitely a pretty good turn, but I think we're still kind of cooking them here. I feel like that Warmongers was like probably pretty backbreaking on turn 0. Feels good. All right, Surging Descendant, Bonds. I guess we can also end on the Dishonor. No, we don't have Dishonor. I thought we had a no, we pitched the Dishonor. Maybe that's what it was. But yeah, we've been kind of rolling hot with the ignore the Marlin game, which I played off stream. That game didn't count, wasn't real. But yeah, it's going pretty well, I think. All right, we got the T-Bone, sure. You just love, like, when you draw the natty line, this deck feels like so disgusting. Feels like this is like not supposed to happen, but it just does very frequently. Yeah, Katsu's pretty scary. I think this is definitely a deck that people are still maybe rightfully sleeping on. Like, I think the deck has some real issues in the meta currently. Let's go ahead and grab. Oh, we have another Gust Wave in here, right? I know. I guess we have to grab a Gust Wave now. Grab the Tempest Spawn. Bonds gets Bonds. Everyone loves double Bonds turns. When this deck like does the thing though, it is like probably one of the most like crazy decks in BAM. Like this deck, I think is actually like a really good example, like what I kind of think an aggro deck should be. Like there's some setup involved. Your armor's like trash basically. Um, I think like Lynx is still like a power outlier. Like I probably would try to play this, or like if I was trying to like design an aggro hero, I'd probably like design Lynx not to be the way it is. But there is like a real cost in Lynx. Like you have two equipment block, you're like super easily disrupted, and then like you have to like set up your combo turn. You can't just like do it for free all the time. I don't know. I feel like Katsu's actually like most of the design is actually kind of fine, I think. But so, there's some like problematic elements, I guess. I don't know. Feels like it's like more nice than just like Oscilio, I guess, in my brain, but maybe not. I don't know. But yeah, how many people in chat actually went to Montreal? Kind of curious. I know Scorch Rose, I think, was in Montreal. Anyone else? I know that Taylor, Ben, and Nate were all in Montreal playing Marlin. We're gonna try to do a Marlin video, I think, actually Thursday of this week, so maybe it'll come out like Friday-ish or maybe over the weekend. We're gonna have to see. But yeah, lots of new Marlin developments, which is very exciting. We still have some red flusters left, so let's go and just do that. Yeah, pretty sweet line here. I guess we could have gone for the breaking scales, but I kind of forgot. I mean, it should still probably be good enough here. Seemed good. I feel bad for that Teklo on. Oh, I don't think I saw that game. Was there a Teklo on stream? Like, what happened with that? I'm kind of curious. I watched like most of the finals and maybe a couple of the games towards the end because I was like, I think I still asleep. I kind of slept in late. So, yeah, game. But yeah, what happened with the Teklo? I'm kind of curious. Katsu feels like a more fair aggro combo than Gauntlet Flash from a spectator perspective, anyways. I think that's reasonable. Ooh, okay, we get to play against a Jarl. So I think we still go second in Jarl because we want to just like have a turn. And this is a matchup where we want the Tunic. Give them have fun because I think some of them do run what's the card called? Like Coronet Peak, so it can be a little bit tough. You can bring in these CNCs and then bring in like one Remembrance, one Tenacity, I think was how I was kind of envisioning this. Let's try to kind of like, I don't think we want two Remembrances because we most Jarls are not actually like on like full fatigue. But we'll kind of see how this goes. So it looks like they're kind of more on like a standard kind of like min-ragey package, looks like to me. Oh, deck check in the middle of the game. Like walked up, takes the deck, and walks off. Oh, wow. That's actually like pretty. So was there like a card that like was not in the original deck list? That's so weird. So I think here it's awkward with the Shuriken. I feel like they're gonna try to deny the Shuriken here anyway, so like maybe this is still fine. Oh, it's for curling. Okay. Fascinating. Maybe like hard or something. Told him to replace the whole deck. Wow. Oh, like the whole deck was curled? Fascinating. Oh, let me I don't know if Tegan set up the decklist command here. I'll post the decklist in chat and then maybe Tegan can set that up. Here. I'll do the manual decklist command. How about that?
Yeah, do that and I'll.
Yeah, Tegan can pin it. But anyways, this is kind of just like a kind of first iteration of what I'm kind of thinking about in terms of like Katsu decks. I wish there was like a way we could like double. If we had like another go again thing here, double shuriken would be kind of sweet. So I guess the question is, do we just tutor for one out of the deck, or do we just play? I think we just play the one we have in hand, right? Both feel pretty awful, right? I guess like I don't want to like IP with the shuriken, so I should just play out the one now. Arsenal Empowerment. I think that's reasonable. All right, we do need to find a functional hand here, though, is the only issue. Oh, glad you like Katsu. Yeah, it's very fun. That's like asking me to replace my gravy deck in the middle of a game. Yeah, it's kind of hilarious. Um, not for the player, I guess. It's probably rough, but like it is kind of funny to like have an entire deck check kind of go on. All right, so I think we're gonna try to sandbag here in case they have like CNC to follow this up. All right, if it's just Titan's Fist, I think this is good for us though. So let's go ahead and give them. I think I want to like pitch the bonds back. I guess getting a bonds in graveyard is semi-valuable, but like I guess the question is, do we want to pitch it away so we can get the first bonds in graveyard at some point, or do we want to save? I think we're just supposed to get it in graveyard and maybe set up with the Omega combo turn. So my plan here is I want to try to set up another Shuriken. Like do Kodachi, Fluster, Windcutter, set up, pass, and then just hold the empowerment. It feels weird to block with the bonds there. I don't know. I think there's an argument for just pitching it back in the deck. Like use that instead of the Gust Wave as the one floating resource and just get a Gust Wave in the bin. Maybe it's better, but I think there is some merit to trying to set up double bonds. I don't know. I think I'm coming around to whelming or like setting up the whelming and graveyard maybe being slightly better. Both feel weird, I guess. Okay, if they give us an equipment block here, I guess I'm like kind of fine with this. So that does mean we're IPing with the whelming, but not the end of the world, I guess. Like the Kodachi, I guess, bought armor, which is pretty good. With that being said, we are probably getting mangled here. Yeah, the curling thing is pretty rough. I feel like that's not something the player probably intentionally did, right? So that's an extra, kind of feels bad. All right, fortunately, Tunic is going away, and we may or may not be getting pummeled here, which could also be a point of concern. But as they say, make them have it. Okay, no pummel is good. All right, so Tunic unfortunately did not really make a super impressive showing this matchup, but that's fine. Let's go ahead and I guess just start with the Surging Strike. I think we're going to leave the one floating for both Windcutter as well as the Stalagmite here. I think that seems reasonable. Could also end up getting Blizzarded here, which I know some Jarl lists are definitely still on. I think this matchup's still definitely a bit on the rougher side. So I want to make them react here, I think. Okay, Blizzard's pretty good. Now the question is, do we want to go for the empowerment? Probably yes. And so we draw a yellow, which can help pay a little bit. So we will pay the 2 here. I think we're just getting rid of the Gust Wave. Probably still a bit awkward though, because we do. Yeah, this is still a bit awkward because we can't like fully go for it now. Like I think we just need to discard the bottle and like play out like a red whelming here, and just hope that they give us like Stalagmite or something to respect that. And maybe we're just sitting on this yellow whelming for like Arsenal. After learning combo, it feels very wrong seeing a Shuriken being played. Oh, you mean for like Katsu? I can see that. I mean, it is definitely something you kind of like gotta get used to. All right, drawing another Surging Strike is not exactly what I wanted. How many Shurikens do we have on the field right now? We only have the 1. We could destroy Lynx just to get Retrace and then also buy a Shuriken. And maybe they respect it and give the Stalagmite. It does feel like a little bit of a weaker use of Mask, though. I feel like that's probably wrong. Oh, I can't still attack react to Kodachi, right? So I guess we shouldn't go for the Lynx here. We do Kodachi, hope they don't block with Stalagmite, and then we can Windcutter this in. Yeah, I believe that works, right? We can just use Windcutter on a Kodachi. Okay, they are smart, and they are going to give the stalagmite here. So I think we just pass. Okay, we bought a stalagmite charge. I think that's a reasonable exchange. So, not the end of the world here. Go ahead and just set up a Surging Strike. So they do have a big hand here, so they could be setting up for like an Oaken or something here. This is not exactly the hand we wanted, I think. This is pretty bad. Yeah. This honestly might even just be a blockout hand. I guess we can like block with the 2 Surging Strikes on the next thing they do and just play like Pain plus Gust Wave or something. But yeah, it's gonna be pretty good for them. So I think if this is the case, let's go ahead and just take the turn off, I think. We're getting IP'd with the Pain in the backside, but I don't think that's too much that's lost here. We could also like hold back like, oh no, because the icing counter on hit will also make a frostbite. Yeah, so I think we're just getting IP'd 1, which is fine. Not the end of the world here, I think. That being said, we are like kind of behind on the shurikens, so it's a little rough, but could be worse. I think for what it's worth, that this version of Jarl, like the more icy version of Jarl, is definitely pretty rough for this deck, especially with kind of like how few blues were kind of running. After playing a season of Dash.io, I got trauma flashback when I see items in hand when blocking. Yeah, that's kind of fair. The shurikens are really interesting because it does like give you a lot of power into the deck, but there also is like a very real downside. As we might be seeing here. So, I've not seen a pummel yet. They are definitely a pummel deck. I mean, we could just like say make them have it. Because CNC's not really doing much against Chrono Providence anyway, right? If they want to go for it, they gotta go for it. I think we're just kind of hoping that they start to draw into maybe some reacts here, which I don't know how defensive this at Jarl actually is. If they're not very defensive, then we could actually definitely be struggling here, and Winter's Bite is definitely going to be pretty backbreaking here. So let's go ahead. They could have multiple Winter's Bites, which I'm like a little scared of. But I guess we still just have to like end up paying 1 here. I think we need the blue to like potentially have a turn. Yeah, Icequake, pretty good. Okay, into the CNC for 9, which will be rough, but doable here. So we just have to give up the Breeze Rider boots. Yeah, I think Ice Arrow is definitely pretty good right now, for what it's worth. That being said, I do think they still run some number of reacts, but I think we're probably just getting like Time Walk for the rest of the game, which is fine. Classic Flesh and Blood. Yeah, Tear's pretty good. That being said, if it's just Tear on Titan's Fist, we could be fine. It looks like we're getting mangled again. Not the end of the world, but still pretty bad. So let's go and give them... they're also going to take our Breezer, which is pretty rough. Yeah, this one might be just a go next. But we'll play it out. It's pretty good. It's definitely pretty good. All right, give them the tie green, give them the cut through. All it takes is 1 turn, though. So if we can ever find at least a little inch of space here, we can maybe kind of pull it back. But I think that they probably just have their deck too good against us. The Blizzards are particularly backbreaking, so are the Winter's Bite, so are just like the turn 1 Crumble is also pretty good. So I think they had a lot going for them in this game. Nothing to be ashamed of. Yeah, Border Drop's pretty good. I mean, we have not seen a pummel yet, so I'm like fully expecting one at some point. So let's pretend like it doesn't exist, I think, because that's probably our best path to victory. Okay, that is definitely good for us, or it's a start. That being said, I still don't think we can beat Stalagmite, which is the problem. So I guess we're still just playing the Surging. Yeah, not too bad. I just need to hope that they don't use their Stalagmite for some reason. Huh. I've been so impressed with Pen the more time I've had to process it. It makes me want to brew decks that I've never touched. I think that's true. I think that's some of the stuff for Sage is still a little bit weird to me for Pen, but I do think that these CC implications are really interesting. The issue here is how do we pay for everything? I don't know that we can. I guess we pitched the Descending Gust Wave, is that right? I guess that probably has to be right. Use Katsu, try to get a Bonds, and hope they don't have a Blizzard here. Now we just pitched this Gust Wave. This is still not enough by any stretch of the imaginations, but it's kind of fine, I guess. I don't know. Play a bit weird. I feel like in a Jarl as Katsu, maybe I'm just not even supposed to bring in like the Remembrance or anything, and just kind of like try to aggro. Pitch the Gust Wave. We get back. We still have one Fluster in the deck, it looks like. Or I guess we can just get the Dishonor, which is probably more reasonable. I guess it stops the Frostbites, which is kind of funny. Or theoretically stops the Frostbites. But probably still not that relevant. Yeah, we're probably cooked this game, but I think we kind of pulled together a turn, maybe a little bit. Yeah, Dishonor literally says stop frostbiting me, which is not nothing. It's definitely something. That being said, I think we're still kind of dying to pummel, or just like anything. It's a yeah, the react here, unfortunately, but not the end of the world. Whatever this is might be another. Okay, yeah, Winter's Bite will definitely most of the way there. It's gonna do for them. Gust Wave. Ganoken? Yep. That'll do it. So we go to 2 here, and then we're basically in Titan's Fist Lock. So I think they got this game pretty much in the bag. Didn't really have a great opportunity for using our Shurikens there. I almost wonder if this is maybe a like Breaking Scales matchup, but probably still correct to run the Shuriken package. I don't know. It's a bit weird. But we pretty much died. I think this hand also like just like kind of doesn't. All right. I think I'm gonna make the executive decision that they've thoroughly cooked our goose here. I guess we'll see what they got. I will probably just scoop it up. So let's see what they're drawing into next turn. So they have the Pulse there still, so in case we ever do get to resolve anything, it's not great. And then just that Ice Wave Boulder Drop. So yeah, pretty impressive Jarl list. Running like the pummels. It seems like they didn't find their pummels very well. But good game. Again, I think this kind of Jarl list does pretty well right now. Like you kind of do a lot of the. I think Rob was actually talking to me about like a list kind of similar to this, where you're just like on all the ice stuff and you just try to beat up the Oscilios. I think you also probably beat up on the Marionettes a little bit, like Oscilio, Marionette. I think what else? It almost feels like the Shurikens are just too slow. That's also maybe possible. I wonder if this like I'm kind of torn between the Breaking Scales or the Shurikens in this matchup, but they do feel like just a little slow in this matchup. Maybe you're right. But yeah, I guess maybe like a good sign to be aware of is just having some more like Ice Jarl kind of running around. All right, but yeah, let's see if we can maybe get a couple more. I think that matchup's probably pretty unfavorable for us though, just conceptually. Like it doesn't really feel like even if we have like the mega turn, we really can get through that. Oh, but here is a matchup that's very favorable for us, so that's good. This is definitely a Shuriken matchup, and then let's bring in Nasty seems fine. I feel like one Remembrance and just go to 62. I don't think you need 2, especially in this matchup. Let's just run the 1 just as an insurance policy. Ooh, seems like we're doing a little boost Teklo here. Will be very exciting. I've not actually seen anyone try to take this on yet, like the boost Teklo stuff. Like it just hasn't seemed like it's that much more compelling than like Dash IO or whatever. Let's go ahead and just try to set up our graveyard with the combo card here. And maybe give another 2 combo cards, try to hold on to the Surging. Alright, if an Evo has been managed from boosting this turn, this gets +1. Okay, pretty sweet. So they get to like kind of draw free cards off the top. Seems reasonable. I guess we should actually probably block. Hard boost tech low feels weird as fuck. Well, we're about to see. I've not actually seen a ton of it. I think I'm gonna hold on to the empowerment, maybe. I don't know. Or we'll hold on to it next chain. See what they do. Okay, just another heavy metal hardcore. No boost on that one though. Kind of curious that they didn't boost that, but I guess seems good. Okay. You're loving all the Teklo brewing? I need to do some Teklo brewing myself. I'm very curious kind of what all's going on. But this hand is pretty nasty, right? We get to just kind of rip the Surging Strike. We could also take the Surging Strike to set up next turn, but I kind of like just throwing it here, getting like a whelming. I also like pitch the Retrace. I see a couple different lines here. I guess the question is like, how much do we want to kind of set up here? I think I'm just cracking the cross trap though. My brain sees a Surging. My brain wants to play a Surging. And then we just punish them with the Tigrine. See what they got here though. Good. This card is so nasty when it works. Just having the ability to go +1 draw a card is just kind of disgusting. So getting our Katsu trigger here. Discard Tiger. Couldn't just grab like a red whelming here. And then no breezies, no links. It's fine. So now we have to give them another difficult blocking decision, and then Retrace will just fill the graveyard. If we draw like a bonds off the top, we could also just like win the game on the spot, which would be funny. Alright, seems like they're gonna respect it. So ooh, this is the new one, the Blast Rig. So this is boost and has +1 for each Evo you have equipped. So I think definitely like a little bit jankier. Like it seems like, I don't know. I feel like the Teklos I've seen recently have all just still been like really slow. So let's do a good clean fight. That seems reasonable. Boundary Harp drawing like 2 cards in Teklo is pretty sweet though. I will say that. So get the Breeze Rider boots. No links. I think we're just gonna Arsenal the bottle and just gonna pass it back. So 2 card hand from them plus Arsenal. So maybe they're looking to like play out the Steel Soul Memory at some point. I've also not really seen a ton of like Teklos activating the Synapse Spark Cap a ton. It's like another card, I guess I'm kind of curious. I guess it is just like 1 Battle Worn base, which is kind of sweet. It looks like they get their base head though. So, oh, interesting, but they can't play the Steel Soul Memory. Huh. Seems awkward. What are we doing here? So let's go for the Kadachi so we can get our first Shuriken online, I think. We often want to, it's just difficult for the Synapse. I think that makes sense. It just does seem like very clunky to try to like play and also like make good use out of it. Alright, let's go ahead and play our third Kadachi here. So grab that. So I think, what do I want to get off of? Do I even want to tutor anything here? I can also discard the Remembrance since we're not going to Fatigue, right? That's reasonable. So let's... It seems wrong, but I think this is actually correct. Like, we don't actually care about the Remembrance anymore. So let's discard the Remembrance, get our... What do we want to get here? Still awkward. I think I want to Arsenal the Whelming or something, which means I guess I play... Don't think it matters. I guess we can get a Fluster in the bin. So we don't have a Fluster yet. Okay, might as well get a Fluster, I guess. Maybe we just want to set up the Whelming, and then... This may be an argument to also like just playing the Bottle, but... Bottle, let's go again. Let's go ahead and name Bottle Kadachi. It's like Grasp and Vincent. It's just to help us stabilize as soon as possible at the start of the game. Okay, I guess that kind of makes sense. That's fair. Alright, don't forget to activate the Windcutter here. Assuming that I boarded in the shurikens, which I think I did. Go. Windcutter. Alright, and then we get sit on Whelming and then draw fresh cards. So I think this hand is good. Hesitantly thinking this hand is good. Kind of curious if they run like Pulse Wave Harpoon in this deck, which seems like it might be pretty good against us. Ooh, they're running the Facebreaker as well. I've wanted to play a deck that actually plays this card. This is actually maybe looking like an F tier Fridays, honestly. Seems like there's something here. What it has over like Dash.io or Puffin, I guess is anyone's guess, but it does seem like they're doing something here. Huh. Evo Facebreaker. Pretty sweet. It's basically like a Teclo Pounder, but like better, kind of. Pretty sweet. Activating the base legs to get an action point. Base legs into Ghost Protocol. Okay. They're doing things over there. So they get their call. Maybe recall is just insurance in case they accidentally banish their singularity or whatever. Maybe they're already sitting on the singularity or something. Who knows? Let's actually go ahead. I'm trying to think how we want to sequence this. So the play I see, I think we just want to not YOLO the Harmony here, as weird as that sounds. You know how much I love a good Harmony, but I think it's better off being pitched here. Because we want to go like Kadachi, good Tempest Palm, hopefully Tigerine Reflex it to bump it over. I got top. The Ghost Protocol cards are 6. I got top 4 at my PQ, and kind of wishing I could play the Marvel Ghost Protocol. I've not actually gone to my ProQuest yet. I was waiting for the CC ones because I think those are the only ones in my area. But yeah, I think those Marvels when I was looking at before, they did seem pretty sick, which is nice. It seems like they weren't going to respect the Shuriken there. High Green should hopefully punish them pretty bad here. So yeah, let's go and crack everything, I think. Do we need the boots, though? I guess is the question. I think we still probably do, right? Yeah, I think we do. Let's get our links. Links will get... We can get Tenacity. Oh, no, we can't do Tenacity plus Salt. That's not technically possible. I guess it's still Retrace, although we might not be using like the Retrace. No, but no, might not be using it like right away. So let's get our bonds here. We already have a bonds in the graveyard, right? Oh no, we don't. Oh. This is still fine. Yes, this is still fine. Okay. So we get our bonds here. Bonds gets this Gust Wave. Alright, we still made it work. So Bonds gets this Gust Wave. This Gust Wave triggers the Retrace, which triggers the Whelming. And then we get to end on the Salt, maybe draw an extra card, set it up for Arsenal. Okay, I think we found the line here. Best of luck. I brought the KO Precon day before and YOLO'd it and got third, so I'm happy. That's pretty sweet. Did you just use the KO Precon, or did you like also like upgrade it all? That's pretty impressive if you did just use the KO Precon, because I don't think that one was like super all the way put together. Wasn't there only like one Blood Rush in the KO Precon or something like that? Can't remember. But we named this Surging, I believe. But yeah, that's pretty sweet. I just ate a Teklo with Palantir, and it wasn't even on the same link. I'm a Puffin main now. Puffin's pretty good. The new like pirate deck, and also like I think so kind of an interesting development. It seems like the boost Puffins out of Calling Montreal seem to be doing a little bit better, which doesn't mean like anything in terms of like which one's better or worse or whatever. It could just be like different meta fields, whatever. Okay, seems like they are going to respect the Whelming here, which is good for them. But it seems like the boost Puffins were higher representation. I don't know if that's true, fully true, but I think I heard that, at least through the grapevine. But yeah, the deck is pretty scary, I think. All right, but we've done a pretty good job of out boosting the Teklo here. All right, looks like they're just going to set some armor up and pass, which is good for us. So now let's go ahead and maybe just try to go for the tenacity here. I think we're doing Hidachi. Hope they don't block. Yeah, they did block. Plan is foiled. If that's the case, then we can also just set up the cut through and just like go for the surging here. Puffin is great to see 5-0 into them over side events at the calling with Katsu. Yeah, Puffin and Katsu I think is pretty bad for them, right? Seems pretty bad. We were just playing the tenacity and just like making them deal with it and then just setting up the cut through here. We'll eventually get them with it. It doesn't have to be right away. But yeah, Puffin Katsu seems pretty Katsu favored. Just based on how aggressive this deck ends up being. Another pretty good hand. Still doing things over there, which is like a little bit concerning, but it's not like anything super impactful. How do we sequence this one? Well, we obviously want to play the 100 wins at some point. I guess the question is just when. I think we're just like pitching everything here. Or basically everything, right? Give us the one there. Now we do... So one option is we play the Surging Strike, play the 100 wins, end on the cut through, which I guess maybe is the play. I think we're just trying to kill them with inefficient shuriken blocks at this point. Oh, did I see the Zen Life the Party Sage? So yeah, is that the one from the what do you call it? The like Sage articles they did, like the Prime to fights? That one from Justin Koo I think is really sick. I wanted to try that deck for a minute here. I just haven't gotten the opportunity to. I think that deck is very cool. That being said, I do think it still probably struggles into like, I think Fi still probably stomps that deck. Probably struggles in a fatigue still, which is kind of weird for Katsu, but I think it probably still does, or like more so than Fi, it feels like. I think what other decks Zen would struggle into. Briar, I guess, is no longer an issue, but KO probably is still pretty bad. I don't know. Zen and Sage still seems like he's got issues. Like, it doesn't seem like he really gained anything from the new, like, BNR. But we'll have to see. If someone ends up doing very well with, like, a Zen Sage, I wouldn't be surprised. It just feels like it's definitely a bit awkward. They were, in fact, playing Max V. They had it in their arsenal, which is kind of funny. I think they were just playing the one copy, so maybe they were just trying to go for it, but just never came up. Yeah, I guess they were just on the literal one copy of Max V, which I think makes sense. It seems like it's awkward most of the time, but maybe they're trying to go for it at some point and they just couldn't get it together. But that tracks, I guess, for Teklo. Probably a pretty favored matchup regardless of kind of how they build here. Let's see if we can get another one. All right, another Jarl. Can we redeem ourselves? So I'm hoping this is another Ice Jarl. If it is, then I guess that's good beats. Let's bring our Tenacity, and then let's maybe just... Alright, let's bring in Tenacity over Salt, and then let's not Fat Deck at all. Because I'm kind of curious if the Fat Decking was maybe not doing us a ton of favors. And then let's run Tunic, just in case they are... like, in case they do try... Like, I feel like Crosstrap is like a liability, especially against Blizzard specifically. So it looks like we are probably playing more of a kind of looks the Barkskin to me represents kind of like earthy Jarl. It looks like they're not really fat decking all that much. But yeah, let's try to treat this more like a mid-range matchup than a fatigue matchup and see that if that ends up being a little bit better for us. We're also running the breaking scales, which could be pretty good. So I think here, I don't want to hold on to the Harmony, so maybe I'm just giving like these three. Actually, the Gogan card is probably more important. Let's hold on to, I guess, the 100 wins and just set up the Gust Wave in Arsenal. I think this seems reasonable if they want to pummel. Yeah. But yeah, this seems good, I think. So let's go for... We don't have our Shuriken generation, which is a little bit awkward. Oh, did we leave the Shurikens in the deck? Oh, we did, didn't we? We should be... Hold on. Okay, this might actually be a lost cause. Okay, actually, sorry. I probably need to scoop this one up, because I think... Okay, so I don't think this is actually... Thinking about it now... Okay, so here's my thought process. We have the main deck Shurikens, right? But we don't really have anything to replace them. So I feel like if we're running... I feel like Breaking Scales is probably not for this matchup, because we don't have like anything we're swapping these into. Right? They're just extra blues. I think maybe we still just want the Windcutter, even if it's like suboptimal or whatever. Like, if it's hard to get off, that's fine. But I think the Windcutter is still probably right in this matchup. Now that I think about it more, like the more that we have to like, if we're like boarding these out, I feel like that's wrong, right? Does that make sense? Just main deck 1 or 2 Shurikens. Maybe that's the actual strat. Is like main deck 2 Shurikens and then bring in like Tenacity or something. Okay, we'll see if we can try against another Jarl at some point. But I think that one I maybe need to think about the board a little bit more. What matchup are you playing? Breaking Scales, turn 0 Shuriken, still sweet. Okay, yeah, okay, maybe a little bit of preemptive scoop there. But yeah, we'll see if we can find maybe another Jarl and try out something different. So I was thinking in the Jarl is like maybe we just run the Windcutter anyways, and maybe we just like board out 1 Shuriken for like Tenacity. Which we might actually end up doing here against this RKO. So let's go second, I believe, still. Alright, we're bringing the Tenacity. Salt seems... I don't know. Maybe we are just still running the Shurikens anyways. I mean, I gotta... Okay, that's fair. I think I'm selling myself on maybe just doing the Tenacity and keeping the Shurikens in the deck. Have I seen or sorry, hold on. Let me decipher this. Okay, I think this is fine. Have I seen that the Katsu lists that are sideboarding between the Windcutters plus Kadachi and Scar Wraps was Edge? So yeah, we kind of talked about that earlier. You always salt there. Okay, interesting. We'll see how oh, they're running Savage Claw. Oh, maybe they're prepping for the inevitable Claw ban. That's kind of funny. I think this is... I don't know, they have a lot of armor, so I could see the Tenacity being fine. But maybe they're not, like, super heavy armor. Like, maybe Tenacity is more so just for... I actually am not, like, that big of a fan of Tenacity to begin with. Let's see if it ends up mattering here, though. And starting on 43 is definitely good for them. I think we're just trying to fold this hand. So, good start from them. Sigil, obviously, not too bad. This hand probably loses us the game, unfortunately, but we'll do our best here. And if they don't block the Kadachis, maybe we're cooking, but seems bad. We can buy like an armor block here. Be kind of happy with that. All right, and then Fluster or Dishonor. Probably Fluster, right? Yeah, that's my issue with the switchboard build, is that like you have to run a ton of cards to like actually switch between Edge of Autumn and Kadachi's, right? That I think is like the fundamental issue, or like there's a bit of tension there, because sideboard space is like pretty like you do there's definitely some like sideboard space that's like pretty open for like certain matchups or whatever, but you do still need like kind of a consistent board, it feels like. And then like having access to like Warmongers, I think is pretty important. CNC, I think overall has been pretty good as well. Feels like you miss out on a lot, I guess is what I'm saying. So I think here, unfortunately, we do just kind of have to respect this. Like, I think our plan is to just play out Pain in the backside, plus Gustwave here. Seems fine. They want to like Scowling us for some inexplicable reason, then I guess we can play the Gustwave from Arsenal or whatever. But not too bad of a turn from their side. Yeah, that the Kadachi, like the mono Kadachi list, it feels like the better thing to switch for me is between like Windcutter and Breaking Scales. Like if you need that extra like aggro potential, it feels like having breaking scales being kind of just like your Okana or whatever does feel pretty sweet. And you also do just kind of like not have like the inconsistency of just getting like blown out by like someone blocking random whatever. Your random like flick of the Okana or whatever. So if we want to take the super green line, we could set them to 36 even, which would turn off their mocking blows. But I think that's probably too cute. I think it's probably too cute. Especially if they have like react there and then they just like keep the same life total basically anyways. So I think we're not gonna get too greedy there. When will we get kunai and smoke bombs in the ninja deck? I want a Moon Knight Ninja just as random bullshit go energy. Well, the kunais are apparently a assassin tech, so I think that's probably out of the question, but maybe someday we'll see the kunais. Alright, this hand's looking pretty scary from them. We might end up just blocking again this turn. Feels bad. Like, this hand's like non-functional. Yeah, I think we'll just see what happens. Hitting this deck with Dishonor would be wild, right? I know it's unlikely, but RK feels like one of those decks that absolutely gets hosed with other decks. I don't think it's like that bad, but it's definitely pretty good from their side. Or like it would be pretty good into them, I think. Alright, so I imagine we're probably getting it blown out here by a pummel, presumably. So we play around pummel probably by doing these two and then just making this. I guess we probably... No, I think we actually have to block with the bonds, right? Just get the bonds in the graveyard. I think this is the block and we just force them to do it. They got it, they got it. Good. Yeah, Dishonoring Life is the best strat, for sure. So now we arsenal a yellow whelming. Discard that. Sure. We could start from our RK opponent here. Doesn't feel like they've really whiffed at all. These looking for scraps have also been hitting really nicely. Alright, we need to dodge another CNC here, but we do have a turn here at least, which is nice. Alright, so I think we do just have to like turn a corner here. Yep, I think we're taking it. This hand is juiced, but I think their draws have just been like a little too good. Double looking for scrap in a row, plus the turn 1 sigil start, plus the mocking blow is like pretty optimal from the RKO side. I don't know how well we're actually kind of doing here. So we're hoping that they don't hit the bonds here. If they don't hit the bonds off the scowling, then I think we're cooking. If they do hit it, then we're probably in trouble. Okay, they're not going to use this scowling yet, which I think is wise. Let's go for the whelming. We can double bonds here, potentially. Which is exciting. So this will demand 4, which maybe demands the scowling plus card or something. I don't think I've ever played now RKO on Talishar that doesn't have sigil on turn 0. Yeah. Kind of just like the unfortunate part about, I don't know, this design has like always been kind of dumb for me. Like, this is like, okay, so like normally, okay, here's like fundamental card design, right? Is like you want to print mechanics that allow you to catch up as opposed to like, so like the revered design, right, is really, really good, right? Because you want to print comeback mechanics to let you do something if you're like a little bit behind, and then you can kind of like equalize out the game state, and there's like some kind of like back and forth that kind of goes on there. But like RKO starting ahead and then also like staying ahead can definitely lead to like these really weird like feel bad kind of game states, which I'm not like a fan of. I don't know. It just seems like very strange to me that it was designed that way. But also I like do not enjoy this hero, so maybe it's just my salt talking, but I don't know. It just feels like weird from like a design perspective. Like, why would you design a hero that rewards you for being ahead, and then you don't even have to really like interact to be ahead as well? Kind of like the interesting part. So for this one, okay, so now we need to Silverwind, I believe, right? Means this will let us hit with the Breeze Rider boots. Oh, if they have that, that probably hurts. Oh, actually, losing the bottle and then getting hit by that is like pretty backbreaking. Yep. All right. I think we're losing this one. Kind of a no block in hand, but I doubt it. Maybe they'll let us hit and be nice. Is this fine? I don't think it's fine because we need to get Gogan on this. Or okay, I guess they're gonna give us Gogan. Sure. So now I guess we get the links. Get our tenacity now, and just bonds it up. I guess I'm grateful that they gave us the freebie there. So what do we want to get? Actually, hold on. Can I look at the combat chain? Oh, there's too much shit on my screen. Hold on. Right, so what was this? This was the gust wave. This was on searching, filming. Okay, so we don't have dishonor yet. Maybe they don't know how to read dishonor though. That's likely. So get it here at least. Yeah, fluster or dishonor. I think it's just any 0 for 4 there is basically the same. Dishonor has the added benefit of your opponent not reading is a buff for it because they might want to block it. Yeah, it's still 4, which is nice. If we had like a descendant there, that would be pretty nasty though. Turning off RKO is definitely a pretty big benefit. Okay, so I actually don't think we're that bad off here. The RKO is basically stuck on a 2-card hand. Means that like what's the best 2-card hand? It's like 2-card 8 or like 2-card CNC or whatever. And we do have the tenacity coming in, so we're dealing like an extra 12, so that does even it out and we get an arsenal. So like maybe this is not as doomed as I initially thought. I thought like they kind of just like rolled us and then they like gave us the bonds there, and then we kind of like did pretty well from that. So they can block here if they want, which would put them down to 23, but give us full tempo and arsenal. Oh, hi. Been seeing a few Katsus around at locals nowadays. Find them hard to know what to block and what not to block. Yeah, I feel like most people struggle into Katsu. It's kind of like Dory, right? Where it's very difficult to know when to block. I think a lot of it kind of just depends on like what the vibes are, like what have you seen, what have you not seen, that kind of thing. A lot of it, or oh, whoops, sorry, hold on. That's my arsenal. All right, go there. Nasty. There we go. All right, figured it out. Arsenal bomb. Right, show of strength, pretty good. I think we're just gonna try to kill them though, right? They lead off in the bottle. I mean, Windcutter's like not doing anything, but we might as well keep it around. I think we're kind of cooking with this hand. Double Empowerment's pretty hard to play around. But yeah, as for how to block Katsu, I think Nirbosh in chat probably said it correctly, that you kind of just have to, they lead with the surge and kind of just assume they have it. I think that's like kind of a reasonable assumption. All right, we'll go for 1 empowerment here, most likely because they have a 0 for 4. Searching is, I don't think it's good though. We'll see. All right, we'll do another one. Okay. This is good, I think, right? We still, so we used all our bonds, that's fine. We will use the Katsu ability. So we discard Fluster. Do we even need to discard Fluster? I guess Fluster doesn't really do anything, right? Or I mean, like Fluster, like there's not a card that's better than Fluster. Because we're gonna play this Tempest Palm anyways. We could just get a Red Whelming if we want to force more blocks. Like 0 for 5 is also like fine, it feels like. No bonds left is the issue. Discard Fluster, search Fluster. Big brain. I think we're just keeping this hand. Like, I guess there's like a minor upgrade in getting like whelming, but like it's not even that big because like they have the block for it anyways, right? I'd maybe just rather take the extra couple damage. I think this seems somewhat reasonable. That being said, I think we're still probably just a little bit too far behind this game. I think their draw is just very, very good. Like the double looking for scraps, just let them keep up tempo really, really hard. Yeah, I think we just keep it as is there. Like whelming is like a marginal upgrade, I guess. I don't know. Alright, Mocking Blow. And they have Tunic up. So this is functionally coming in for 8. We're probably cooked here. Or no, I guess we can give Windcutter. So we give Windcutter and then we give Harmony, I guess. It's kind of painful. We could also give the Surging, but I feel like it's largely the same. Maybe we're chaining 1 damage for 1 block. I guess we just do this. If they want to go for it, they put us to 1. If they don't go for it, then 7 arsenal. Oh, did I forget? No, I didn't forget about the might. Did I? I think I counted. Right? I counted this right. We go to 1. I think I did. Oh yeah, sorry. Did I say 8? Yeah, I think I said 8, but I thought in my brain 9. Okay. Sorry. I think I said that the mocking was coming for 8, and then I like did the math. I was like +5 + 4 is 9. So we need to block. We go to exactly to 1. Math is hard. I think I just said the wrong thing. I think I did the math right. I just didn't say it right. We're alive though. We are A-okay. Now we just need to top deck the best possible card off the top. Assuming they'll actually let this connect, which is unlikely, but possible. Okay, wait. Maybe we're cooking. They do have this claw, though. I guess might be painful. That claw for 4, pretty good. I guess we just give these 2 and then send our mid-turn back. I think with a different set of draws, we definitely could have gotten this game. Like, this game was very close, I think. I think we had just like 1 too many brick hands, and then the RKO hands like just did not brick. It's pretty good. Not too bad. Hi friends, just joined. How are we feeling about Windcutter? Better than I think. Like I'm a apologist for this card because I spoiled it, but I think this card is actually good, is my opinion. That being said, we are losing this game. I don't think like Windcutter is losing us this game in the sense that I think that Windcutter itself is like pretty decent. But I think we're still probably dead this game. Which I think they kill us with the okay, they just didn't have okay. Maybe we actually probably should have blocked differently, but I kind of just assumed they had it. Bonds can stay at just red. Now I want Mopal to search blue bonds. Yeah, that's true. I did get turn 1 RKO, so there wasn't really a ton. Just need to draw better. Also true. But yeah, I think this deck's still really good. I'm still very high on the Shuriken thing. Like, I think that okay, so I do think that with Windcutter, you do kind of have to have a backup plan. So I don't think you can mono run Windcutter into everything. Is what I've kind of at least seen when I've played against a lot of Katsus or just like seen them on Talishar. It seems like you want some backup game plan for Windcutter, but I think that like in mid-range matchups and like slower matchups, I think this card's very, very good. But I still like this card a lot. I think this card definitely like opened up a lot of like really cool design space, I think, for Katsu, which I think is cool. Cool. Just need to draw better. Katsu looks so fun to play, to be honest, as someone who only plays Mario and Marlon. I think this deck's a lot of fun. This has been like one of my favorite Fab decks kind of throughout the years. I think there are like some little toxic elements for it, but overall I think it's still like just kind of like a very fun, cool first hero design. Otherwise pretty sweet. Against Dynamo and Rampart decks, you want some double strike, otherwise your Windcutter is just sitting duck. I've never been like super huge on double strike, to be honest. All right, okay, so how do we board against Jarl? So I think, right, so we want the Tunic, I believe, right? We could also just try the cross trap, but I still think that's like a little sus. All right, so I'm gonna bring in the Tunic. I'm gonna bring in the Windcutter. We're gonna take out one Shuriken, and we're gonna bring in one Tenacity. I think this is this the Jarl board? What do we think, chat? I think this is it, right? I think I'm gonna try it like this. Let's hope to not get crumbled turn 0. But I think this is what we want to do. Let's try it out. All right, so they are running Coronet Peak here, which is funny. Also, they're rocking the Rob sleeves, which is also very cool. So let's give them... I want to hold on like the Tempest and the other... I kind of want to hold on like these two. Is that weird? Let's just give them some fodder for the graveyard. But at least Tunic is maybe showing that it's relevant against the peak here, which is kind of interesting. So now let's follow up here. How do we want to do this? We have searching into Tempest Palm. I guess they are in Rampart, so maybe they are like a little bit of like a slower, like more fatigue style Jarl. Means we do have to be a little bit careful here. So I think we maybe just want to try to set up our first Shuriken. Maybe go like Tempest Palm into 100 Winds, Arsenal Surging Strike. Or alternatively, we can also... Yeah, I think we're just trying to Arsenal this, I think. There's Heart. Oh. So now let's do Tempest Palm. You probably don't even want Flick in this Mopal build. I think that's also pretty reasonable. I know some people have been like pretty down on just like running Iriax in this deck. I think is reasonable. And so they did block us out pretty good here, but not the end of the world. So maybe we still do want like one remember. It's so weird against Jarl because you have to like hedge for like a million different things. It feels like. Let's go ahead and pay. I think with the they have a shuriken we can just like set up here. I'm gonna pay with like a gust wave or something. We're here for a long time, not a good time. This version of Jarl, yeah, it's kind of like the snooze fest Jarl. I think we're just gonna try to get some Kadachi chip in here and just like set up our shuriken. I'm assuming they're on like more react kind of style version of Jarl, which is interesting. Oh, they're running Ice Lock. Okay, interesting. Sure. All right, first shuriken online. That being said, we did have to manual mode the shuriken, which is a little different. This looks like they're maybe gonna buy back their Ice Sloth for later or something. Rumble is online. These are all bad things, but at least we don't... Okay, they're going to try to break the Mopal thing. So we want to try to save this Tunic counter so we're preventing them from Coronet peeking. I think is the play. So let's go ahead and Surging Strike here. Hopefully looking to use the T-Green to maybe try to get our first bonds in the yard. LSS, how do we make the most menacing, angry, rage-filled character we've ever made? Let's make him a fatigue deck. Yeah, I guess that's fair. Okay, so I assume this is React here, so let's make them use it. Sure. So I want them to filter first, and then we'll go for the T-Green. It should still be annoying for them, hopefully. Unless they want to like quick dodge or something, which I'm also, to some extent, fine with. Because it just means we get to follow up with the Gust Wave. Nah, Jarl should always choose Tunic here. Yeah, I think that's what most Jarls typically choose against me. But maybe they're cooking something, I don't know. Alright, so not just for the breezies. I do think we want to try to use our Link sooner rather than later if we can help it. So let's go ahead and discard to Katsu. Let's get our first bonds. So this is going pretty well. in before we get blizzarded, which would suck, but not the end of the world. Some people never got over the loss of Old Him, so they try to make Jarl into Old Him. Yeah, okay, so actually post Compendium, I think the versions of Jarl that I think are like the most viable, at least based on what I've seen. Like I think Jarl still has like some kind of struggles. But to me, like the two versions of Jarl that actually seem like the most like they have the most going for them are I guess like the Earth Jarl, which I think is doing like more of like the decomp package. And also I guess there's like this new like I guess it's not a new version of Jarl. It's like been around for a while, but it's like never been good. But like I think that finally the ice version of Jarl, I think it's gotten like a quite a bit better. So I think like those two versions of Jarl in my mind are like the two best versions. Let's go ahead and get, I guess, just another. I don't really know what I want to get here. We have this Gust Wave, which I guess we're just gonna Arsenal. Maybe we can just get the last crappy. Oh, did we? Sorry, did I already use the? Wait, why do I? Did I not search it? Hold on. Am I missing? Huh? Wait, did I like board out one on accident or something? Weird. Maybe I like clicked through it fast. Wait, why is okay? Hold on. Sorry, I'm like losing my mind. Did we not board it? That is super weird. Can I not count? 1, 2. We should have another one of these. Okay. Interesting. Am I missing it? I think I am. Huh. Yeah, I will definitely shuriken this turn. I guess I might as well just get it now. Yeah, so it's not in my sideboard, I don't... Oh, there's a button for it, hold on. Yeah, I think you're right. Hold on, how do I check? Sideboard? I've never actually done this before. View your inventory. What? Wait, how do I not have a... Okay, we're gonna like search the deck at some point and figure that out. But that's very weird. Oh, is it on? Oh, it's on the comment chain. Sorry. Okay. We're at that point of the night where I start losing my mind. Okay, yes, it is on the comment chain. That makes sense. Sorry. Yeah, that tracks. Sorry. False alarm. Talshar is working as intended. I'm just bad. We all forgot. Oh, do we tenacity here? 8. Okay, so we would have to give a shuriken here if we wanted tenacity. Is tenacity good? Like, they're not gonna blow up our links right away. I think if we wanted tenacity, we should have done it back then. So how much, I guess, would this tenacity actually be giving us? We have 1 here, or so the quick dodge I think only counts as 1, right? For tenacity purposes. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. So tenacity is only for 6, which is kind of unappealing. I think I'm just gonna let that be. Yeah, I think it's not probably worth to give shuriken just to like proc tenacity for 6. Feels weird to me. You know, I know on the mom hit it was open. I just don't think it was worth it. Or it didn't seem like it was really that worth it. Alright, so this is why we run the tunic, so we get to dodge the Coronet Peak discard for a turn, which is great. Now I guess we try to just go for the surging stuff. Yeah, seems good. Let's hope they don't have another blizzard or whatever, but we did dodge the peak, which is important when it mattered. Oh yeah, Donnie, you might be behind in the chat or on the stream. I think I forgot that I played it. Yeah, it seems pretty good. I would have liked this to be a blue in an ideal scenario, but otherwise pretty sweet. So we surging, play Descendant, hope to discard Bottle, do like a double bonds thing, go to town. I think that's the play. They are pitching to Oasis, which is great for us. We still got a bit of work to do though, because they are kind of on the more fatigue variant, which means that we do have a lot of, I guess, value to kind of fight through here. So I think we still play the Gust Wave first, right? We have to play the Gust Wave because the discount, right? It's kind of important. I guess they still do get the Rampart value, so they're still getting like 6 value, which is pretty good here. Alright, so Katsu trigger. We do have the double bonds thing, but we do have to give up the Become the Bottle and also break our Breeze Rider boots. I guess we're just doing everything here. Yep, so let's break our Breezies, break our Links. Sorry, I guess we don't want to break our Links, right? We should not break the Links quite just yet. Let's break the Breezies first. No Links. Yes, Katsu. Get this. Get Bonds. Bonds gets Bonds. So we set up the turn correctly, at least. Now we just need to figure out when and what we're getting with Links, which I imagine is maybe just Tenacity. But they haven't actually blocked with anything from hand, so it's like awkward. I don't know. It might just be Salt, honestly. What do we get off the Bonds now? I guess the question. We can get like Campus Palm, which is fine. So we maybe are looking to use the Links here. So they've only blocked with 2 cards as Chain Link, so Tenacity is bad. So I guess that means we're just getting the Salt, right? The Salt is minimum 6 value. I'm learning Zen on Sage. You think a Coup deck is the best version? Yeah, I think that deck's really good. It seems like Justin put in a lot of work into that deck, which is more work than I probably put into. So I'll defer to his judgment for now. I don't think there's any real update to that deck recently. At least it seems like. All right, but Sulfur stuff is not bad. All right, so we put them down to 19. That being said, we still do have to fight through the armor. I think we're doing okay here. Go ahead and try to make use of our Kodachis. We're still kind of opening ourselves up to Coronet Peak a little bit here, but we can like maybe get them to block out another turn. No, they have a bug. All right, looks like there might be a bug here. Quick question. What is the question? Sure. We use 2 bonds. Right? This is correct. We banish the bonds. We double bonds last turn, right? I don't think there's anything wrong here. I don't see an issue. Our side, what's the bug? Are they maybe confused? Because my understanding you have 1 in banish when you run the yellow Gust Wave. We did banish a bonds. Okay, sure. Maybe they're just asking about the bonds or something. Yeah. Can also banish bonds to bonds, the classic combo. Happens to the best of us. Oh, there's a 4th. Oh, okay, I see. Oh, okay. Yeah, so maybe they're seeing like a 4th bonds on their side. I wish. Have I been liking Pain in the backside? I think it's kind of just replacing like Be Like Water for me. It's basically just like a 0 for 4 ninja go again, or 0 for 3 ninja go again card that on hit gets an extra +1. It synergizes nicely with like the T-Greens, I think, which is kind of like the appealing part of it to me. Like, it seems nice into aggro, specifically. That to me is kind of the appeal. And like, it could actually be pretty nasty here. Like, take a look at this. So we get to coming on over for 2, which is really sweet, right? Like, this is actually like maybe the best case scenario for Pain in the Backside. So now we get to so we still need a tutor for our last Shuriken here. Here for our last Shuriken, and what is the target we're going to get? I think we're going to try to Arsenal this Whelming. So that means we should get just like a random crappy fluster, probably. So random crappy fluster, Windcutter. Yeah, optimal time to ask the question. I like that. That's basically the example, right? Like we get to like so the scenario in my mind was you play pain in the backside is just like a head jab with upside. Your opponent maybe wants to block it, maybe doesn't. And if they don't block it, you're getting a 0 for 4, which is great. Good rate, everything. Let's not forget to button. Oh, did we already use the? Oh, we only boarded in 2. Sorry, I'm losing my mind. Doesn't matter. That's still fine. I think I boarded one out because I was like scared of something. So I think for fatigue purposes, we should actually just give up the Windcutter and the Tunic now. Does mean that we're opening ourselves up to Coronet Peak, but we lose less cards doing it this way. And what does that mean? We get to just like Gust Wave into Retrace. Or no, we can't Retrace. So we should block with the Tempest Palm. I think. Like this. But anyways, like that was basically the prime example is you like T green on it, deals 2 damage plus like get the tutor or whatever. Don't I keep the Tunic? I don't think I need like Tunic has kind of served its purpose and just kind of like staving off the Coronet Peaks from the early game. Like we've gotten them down to 14, which is like the best part, right? So I think what we want to do is just like kind of whittle them down from here. At least that's what I'm trying to do. Like they can Coronet Peak us, and then it's still like kind of fine. Like we can't just afford to get Terrace under there. I don't think. Like we lose like 2 cards in deck, and then we also just like lose a ton of tempo. I don't know. It seems like kind of suspect. So let's do now. I guess we'll start on the pain in the backside and see what they do. Might just end up arsenaling this Descending Gust Wave. But this is kind of why I was like hedging the 1 Remembrance, just in case like this style of Jarl is still kind of hanging around. Like this style of Jarl is definitely still a bit scary for this deck. Yeah, I guess we're just playing the Descendant here. It matters not which card you block with, for all cards taste the same to the Kadachi lock. So like Kadachi lock doesn't fully work against Fatigue Jarl because they do have like Rampart plus Heart, so they can like gain back a lot of that life. But I'm hoping the Shurikens do is just make blocking decisions really annoying. I hope. So let's go ahead and give them a card here. Let's go give them like the Harmony here. That's fine. But yeah, we will try to make as much use out of these Kadachis as we possibly can. Fiddler's Green is also like another one of those cards that will help kind of pad the life totals definitely quite a bit. They're still like not out of this game, by the way. Like they're still kind of doing fine here. Like they got stuff they can do. All right, draw. Oh, Retrace is actually a sick draw. It's kind of nuts. Now we can just name Surging Whelming. Seems pretty good. I will take that. Alright, they will run out of 0 for 4s eventually. Sure. Like, they're not completely out of this game yet. Hopefully this Whelming is a little painful for them. Might end up popping a Silverwind here if we want to just try to get an Arsenal. They go for like 0 for 4 or whatever. Maybe they want to respect it a little bit more. They also respect it. I'm kind of fine with that because it means they're not like peaking probably. Yep, seems good to me. So now they're taking a turn off the peak, which is great for us. That being said, they're going to gain another 3 here from the Fiddlers, and we still have 1 more Fiddlers to go, it seems like. Yep, I think we're just going to go for like Surging and a Fluster here. Try to maybe set up another Surging and Arsenal, just so we're not like bricking next turn. Also even merit to just like sending Kadachi here. We just want to make the most use out of all of our cards. But it's probably not worth it. Like, we'd rather just send up these. I want to keep them off Coronet Peak if I can kind of help it, right? But we do need to, like, make sure that we're setting up for overlap turns, or at least keeping like 4-card hands in case they do go for the peak. Yeah, this is why I do think that you maybe want to board in the 1 Remembrance. It maybe just feels like a decent like failsafe. The nice part is if they do try to go for an Oaken here, we can kind of just like eat it and just send Kodachis, presumably. But I think this is like the kind of style Jarl where we're not necessarily hedging for this style Jarl. I think I'm like more worried about like the Ice Jarl than this variant, because you can normally set up like a pretty decent like kind of combo kill on them. Most Guardians do have a hard time with the go-wide strategies. Is that true? I don't know if that's true. Like, it feels like Victor still eats this deck alive. I don't know. Maybe I'm just biased, but I think like Guardians are still kind of fine in Katsu. So let's go ahead and get rid of Speed the Bottle. Is it Speed the Bottle? Yeah, I think Speed on the bottle. Sure. We might want to just Arsenal. Let's like cut through. I just think this Jarl is playing weird. It's possible. They've had a few interesting things. I don't know. A little too early to say. I'm halfway tempted to even just like pitch this cut through to Kodachis, but I feel like that's probably still wrong. How many CNCs have we seen? I guess we have 1 CNC left. Like maybe a consideration to do this. You need to control Katsu's hands, not just block. Yeah, that's fair. I mean, they are trying to go for like the full fatigue thing. I think I am supposed to try to pop 1 here to at least threaten the card draw. Well, let's order the triggers. All right, draw another Whelming. That's whatever. Katsu trigger. What do we have left in terms of threats? I don't think there's really a ton that we want to like, because like discarding is obviously going like -1 card in deck. We're just chilling here. Drawing the card is nice because we at least get to threaten another Kodachi here. If they want to block, then that's good. If they don't want to block, then we get the cut through value. We might as well just try to get as much chip in here as possible. We're keeping them off peak. That's basically like the same as setting up an arsenal, right? Alright, other hand we're kind of fine with here. Go and pay, I guess, with the bottle. This would have been great if I pitched cut through instead of become the bottle. Oh, for the when I drew the Whelming off the Whelming. I guess that would have been pretty good. Yeah. I guess we didn't know that we were drawing that though. Maybe we could have intuited that, I guess, from the rest of our deck. We're still doing like kind of okay here though. I think I'm not supposed to react here in case they have a react on their own, which is likely. Yeah, if they just want to take the 3, I'm fine with this. Like worst case scenario is like Oaken here. In which case we're fine with that. Alright, how much life gain do we have? We have 1 more sigil left plus the Everblues. They still got some stuff going on. Oh, they're just passing? Wow. Okay. So now what do I want to do here? There's no real great like non-awkward line, but I think like this is maybe the most non-awkward line. Try to go Surging Descendant, make the most use of our cards, and then Empowerment. Maybe try to like throw Kodachis at the end of it. Pitch the Surging to Descendant here. I think I like just going. I think I like getting like max value out of Descendant, getting the +2. Alright, Righteous Cleansing. Fine. Alright, there's Oasis. Okay, so we have 1 more Oasis left to deal with, and then 2 more Shelters plus Sink Below. Okay. Could have also drawn up the Surging if we wanted to, but yeah, maybe I still like the 1 Remembrance in this matchup, even if it does kind of hurt us into the like Ice Jarl. I feel like the Ice Jarl we're probably not winning against anyways, right? Alright, so let's... I guess I'll... No, I guess I will go for the Empowerment. It's unlikely they can cover the 5 breakpoint unless they give us, like, Eisenloft or something. Okay, yeah, Staunch is pretty good. But it does mean they're also going shields down.
Out of there.
Yeah, I think I like the one remember. So like it kind of punished us really bad into the Ice Jarl that we were playing against earlier, which is maybe like why I was like hesitant. So all right, so trade offer here. We can either do +2 damage, or we can save 1 card in deck. Interesting choice. I think I still like the +2 damage because like the faster we get them to Kadachi lock, the better. That's at least my rationale. Okay, it looks like they had the shelter, but at least we got a shelter out of them, so not a terrible trade. Maybe shelter is like the reason we're not supposed to attack there. I can see that being the case. So I think here we're just gonna try to set up the Surging Strike in Arsenal. Just do Kadachi, Kadachi 3, 4. Yeah, I'm curious to see if we can do this without the Remembrance here. It's definitely maybe doable. I maybe should have thought about React from Arsenal there. Because like Kadachi kind of punishes React there. Alright, seems good. So we get them to 10 now. They're functionally still at 13 though, so we're still kind of in a little bit of danger. What's everyone's go-to name for those effects when it doesn't matter? Like, I like that all you got. Oh, you mean like the discard? I don't know what my go-to is. I kind of just clicked the first thing because I'm just gonna pay with, I guess, the Tea Green's actually like kind of fine because we don't like have a way to like play this anyways. So we might actually be fine kind of like discarding it here. Even if it's like -1 card in deck, it's still like +1 card. Maybe not though. We'll see how we feel, I guess. We might just like end up playing this for the 0 for 3. Alright, they gave us a shelter. What happens if we just pass here? Like that's the last shelter. If we get Oakendold, I don't care. If we get E-Strike, we don't care. I think we just pass. Knick-Knack, Brick-a-Brack, that's a solid one. Yeah, I'm just passing. I think I just like don't care at this point. If they want a Coronet Peak, we're fine. If they don't want a Coronet Peak, like we're basically kind of at the end game at this point. So the one thing we still do need to fight through is Heart of Findall and the Stalagmite or the Rampart, which is definitely doable, but gets a lot harder, especially with like Everblooms and stuff. Eisen I'm fine with. Coronet Peak we are also chilling with. So let's go ahead and pay with, I guess, I think that's fine. Alright, Kadachi Lock, save us. We're not in terrible shape. Could be better, though. Alright, let's go ahead and play our cut through before we lose all our value out of it. Alright, how many 0 for 4s do we have left? We have 1 Sink Below. They're running Staunch, which is also interesting. Alright, so there's less Sink. And we can do Kadachi. Just throw the winds at them. They do have to kill us at some point. I guess they don't really have to kill us with the Everbloom stuff, huh? Maybe that's not actually true. Alright, we're about to get some insane value out of these this all blue hand. Alright, Kadachi, Dishonor. I think is the play. Yeah, so I think we still probably need to hedge for Remembrance just in case they're playing like this version of Jarl. Maybe that's the lesson here. It is kind of a sick hand, at least for fighting through a CLF. Can you say cracked bauble in these? I think you're okay. So for some reason, I actually thought that you weren't allowed to name cracked bauble as a card. I thought you could name titanium bubble, but I think there's like a ruling about specifically that. Oh, this is kind of bad. Okay, I guess they don't get to keep the seal up around, but how many Terra Sunders is that? How many? Okay, so we still have to deal with one more. This might become problematic. But I think what we're doing here is just getting rid of. I don't even know what. We just like getting rid of our 2 blue because they're like the lowest impact. That makes some sense. If I don't know what to name, I name Shitty Christmas Present. What about banned cards? I assume no, you can't name banned cards. You're definitely allowed to name banned cards.
They made that ruling in Hunted for Bond for Retrace.
Yeah, for Retrace specifically and Hunted, they made that ruling. Because otherwise, Retrace could not name Bonds of Ancestry, which means Dishonor is not like a valid card, basically. Alright, we're still probably cooked this game. I don't know if we can actually beat another Sigil, and the Everblooms are also pain. See, also quite annoying. I guess we'll just go ahead and use our cards. They pitched back their Disruption really well here. It looks like, oh yeah, they bought back their CNCs, so that makes sense why we're seeing them now. I think they like shuffled back. I wasn't actually paying attention to shuffle, but I think they bought back like 2 or 3. I guess this is maybe a lesson learned in terms of bringing in the 1 Remembrance. They did pitch a CNC, which is at least nice, which maybe just means they have another one in hand, likely. We can hope that they don't. Alright, there's the other one. Yep. That'll do it. I think 1 Remembrance does help a lot here, because it means we get to shuffle Bonds back into the deck, which is like pretty impactful. Like, Bonds is one of our best ways to actually kind of get over like what they're kind of doing. I think. At least in my brain it is. They got a pretty good setup here, though. Like, they played it, I think, how you're supposed to, which is just not take a bunch of damage. I think they were, like, maybe supposed to, like, CNC a little bit more often, but maybe they just didn't have the ability to. Yeah, Tenacity is also, I guess, reasonable, but, like, Tenacity has diminishing returns, I feel like. I think we're just, like, playing this out for 3. Feels bad, but I guess technically demands a card because of Shuriken. Probably find an excuse to use the Shuriken at some point. Actually, is now the opportunity to use the Shuriken. I mean, they don't have any more reacts. I guess they have like Sigil. I think I'm concerned about this not actually ever getting used, so I might as well just get the 1 extra damage in case that ends up mattering. I know. Oh, they did have the Blizzard. Okay. Interesting. All right, let's go on A. Let's do our sad Kadachis. Is the Visit the Dojo card or whatever it's called a real consideration? I think Remembrance is better than Dojo. My limited opinion. At least it seems like it's better to me. Alright. Can we get there? I'm losing faith. It is theoretically possible. Do we want to play out the Surging? I guess not, since they leak damage. Oh, another Tear is brutal. Yeah, that might be game, especially with 2 Ice and Pitch. That's pretty rough. Resolving both Tears is pretty backbreaking. Some builds do consider E-Pot or Clarity Pot for fatigue anti-measure. I've never been like a huge fan of the Clarity Pot, if I'm being honest. Seems kind of bad. So I think we need to discard both the reds, which kind of is unfortunate, but it does let us double Kadachi at least, which is kind of interesting. Still worried about the Heart, though. Heart and Everbloom are kind of going to be hard to fight through. And the last sigil, which I think they should have somewhere here. All right, there's hearts. Fortunately, I guess that is last Terror Sunder, so we shouldn't be losing any more cards in deck other than to like Righteous Cleansing or CNC or something. Oh, hello, mischievous meeps. How's it going? We are just we are in the grind fest here. So hoping to double Everblooms. Yeah. All right, Cornet pick can do. Gonna pitch the Fluster here. So this might be our last real turn of the game in the sense that we get to play the Surging Strike here at least. But probably still cooked here. Oh, apparently Philip is in the kitchen. I think we could definitely beat this. I think what we needed was the one Remembrance though. That's why I was like hedging the one Remembrance in the Ice. Like it feels so weird in the Jarl, right? Because like if you want to run the one Remembrance, it's bad into Ice Jarl. But if you want to run, if you don't run the Remembrance, it's bad into this Jarl, right? All right, we got a cat. That's what's important. There he is. Bud.
Doing that thing where he's like, I'm just gonna go into the kitchen.
Philip's allowed to go to the kitchen.
No, it's not.
He's sometimes allowed.
Not by himself. No, he's never. It's never good.
It's never good if he's in the kitchen, but it's never bad.
It's always bad.
Oh, it's fine. He can have a little kitchen as a treat. Fatigue support animal, exactly. See the vision. All right. I don't think we can beat Sigil from here. I guess Tenacity is kind of funny at least, but yeah, I think this is maybe just like not win. I think it's like deterministically I cannot win, right? I think so. They still have like so much armor too. Guess we might as well throw this. Pretty bad. All right, what we got? They play it very well though. Fatigue support animal. He's here. So okay, I think this is a good lesson though. Run your Remembrance into Jarl because I think you need it, and then you're gonna be sad when you draw it into Ice Jarl. Oh, they didn't. Oh, I guess it's not gonna matter. I guess they didn't pay for their CLF, but I feel like at this point we're kind of cooked anyways. Oh, I guess we don't. All right, chat. What do we think? Scoop it up. I think we scoop it up. All right, 0 for 3 in Jarl. Okay, one of the Jarls I just like left against though, so maybe that doesn't. But yeah, Jarl definitely looking like a tough matchup. Like figuring out how to board in Jarl, I feel like is the hardest part. Play it out. All right, Drew's a menace. Drew wants me to play it out. I actually don't think we can win though with Heart, right? Heart plus Rampart just kills us. I guess I'll do it for Drew. Drew is making you all suffer. Shame Drew in chat. We got the big cat though. Do we play out Harmony? Thanks, Drew. Okay, we're actually gonna. All right, I was kidding about listening to Drew. We're actually gonna scoop it up, but go ahead and give them the GGs. I think it's basically deterministic, right? Because they have the Heart plus Everblooms. Like I don't think there's actually do a double Harmony turn. Maybe that was actually the strat. Make them earn the win. That's very funny. All right, let's try to get a non-Jarl game. I think Jarl's like actually one of our like rougher matchups. Let's see if we can get like a silly. Like you want to play this deck? What's the cat's name? The cat's name is Philip. Wilson is the other one. He's the white one. I'm glad y'all are sticking around for that grind fest of a game. I think I just. Oh, okay. So this matchup's actually kind of interesting. I think this is another one of our kind of rougher matchups. But we'll bring in the Warmongers for this one, and I don't know what we're cutting for the Warmongers. I think it's like maybe like pain the backside and like maybe one cut through and just run a little bit heavier on the blues. I think that seems reasonable to me, and let's make sure we got our Tide Flippers on. Okay. I think this looks vaguely correct. I really dislike things like Coronet Peak and Mask of Recurring. I think they're like Coronet Peak to me is like fine. It's just like I don't know. It's it's one of those like starts and play, stays and play kind of thing. It's like a stacks effect, right? I don't know if you should have like a stacks effect on equipment. I guess it's like an interesting design thing. Like at least with so I think Mask was supposed to be like a fixed coronet in the sense that like you don't always get the you don't always get to like activate the effect. Which I think maybe made it a little bit more interesting. Let's try to just set up our first shuriken here. But I think this matchup is definitely going to be a bit tough, especially if they're on kind of like the newer deck list is trying to do like the recurring all coal thing. But basically our win con is the same in this matchup as it is basically in every other matchup, which is just to try to set up the mega huge turn. There are a lot of things we got to bait out, like we got to bait out the coals, we got to bait out the gotta bait out Purgatory. What else do we have to bait out? Probably some other stuff I'm not thinking of. Excuse me. Juice is fine. So I think we're still supposed to just try to force through and get our Windcutter. Make them block. And I guess we'll set up this one because they don't have the widespread destruction yet. I do now have the widespread destruction, unfortunate. Okay, not the end of the world though. So this is why we bring a B. We get to pay with our Silver One Shuriken, which is nice. And I think we're just blocking with these two, sending 100 Winds just to put it in the bin and then passing. The nice part about playing the 100 Winds is we are playing around coal, which is relevant. I really dislike the uninteracted. I agree Mask is more interesting. I also agree Coronet Peak isn't all that bad in terms of power level. It just feels really bad to fight. I think it serves a purpose in the sense that, like, I don't know. My bigger problem with, like, that kind of style of deck is just, like, I hate 90 reacts. I don't know. I've, at this point in my, like, time with the game, I've just had, like, 90 reacts. 90 reacts have been around since High Seas, and, like, I don't think it's made the game better. I think it's made the game, like, actively worse, in my opinion. I know some people like 90 react piles. I think it's just like kind of bad. It sucks, yeah. Like I think that's like my biggest issue. Not like my biggest issue is with like I get the game right now is just like that kind of style of play to me is like very very boring and just kind of like repetitive. Yeah, I think most people are sick of 90 reacts. Just is what it is. As a Huntsman player, I disagree. Drew is just trolling in the chat tonight. Love it. You do you, Drew. No, I mean like people do like 90 reacts. It's like fine. Like I don't think it's like wrong to like that. I just think it's like I've kind of just like tired of it. I guess. Some run 12D reacts. That's also fair. I don't know. I think if that's like the biggest thing I would probably change from the game right now is just like hit one or two of the generic D-Reacts at this point. But it feels bad. Like the D-React problem is like super real because like I think this is like a paradox I think I've talked about maybe on like one of our videos or something. But like the problem is if you ban any one of the D-Reacts, it makes the others feel bad because Shelter was printed, right? So like if you ban Sink Below, then people have to buy Shelter, which feels bad. If you ban Shelter, then the people who bought Shelter are going to feel bad because Shelter's now banned. If you ban Sync, it's basically the same thing as Fate, where it's like now people have to buy Shelter instead, which is like I don't know. I'm kind of just like I don't know. It just like feels bad all around. That's what I'm trying. Let's go and get another 100 wins here, I guess. I'd be interested to see bans on Sync and Fate just to see what it does to the game in CC. That the issue with banning Sync and Fate though is that now you've presented like a problem in terms of like people now have to buy Shelter, which feels weird. Unless you like just reprint Shelter as like a rare or whatever. But there's like issues with all of it, right? Let's go and get our Shuriken out. First Shuriken online, that's good. No links. And I'm halfway tempted to just play out the bottle. because they do have at least 2 more widespreads, but maybe it's fine to wait on it. In the hand they're keeping, I almost feel like we should play it out, but I'm gonna wait on it, I think. Like, I have half a mind to just play around the widespread destruction. I don't know if that's okay. This hand is gonna be bad for us, but the fortunate thing, I guess, is we can block with all of it because they are pumping with the siege. Coal might be awkward if they have it here. Yeah, let's go ahead and just go for the full block. LSS probably doesn't want to ban prize money cards like Shelter or CNC. Yeah, that's like the biggest issue. I feel like the actual answer to the 9 D-React problem is that they need to print better answers to D-Reacts. Like that's the actual solution. Like that way you can leave them in the game, but also they're like okay, this is kind of interesting from this. I'm wondering why they're doing this. Maybe they're saving it for next turn. Okay. Oh, I think they saw the play. Maybe to just wait on that. That makes sense. The thing about D-Reacts is they are all generic. Defending in Fab makes all the cards the same. If all the D-Reacts are playing being generic, then it's ultra boring. Yeah, I think that's like my biggest issue with it, right? It's just like it feels like it leads to very stale, boring play patterns. It feels like a lot of the decks are using kind of the same piles of D-Reacts. I don't know. The word that we're actually kind of looking for, I think, is it homogenizes the game really bad. That I think is like the core issue. It's just like homogeny. So I think we're gonna just like force them to have another brick turn here. Like, I think we're kind of in like the waiting to play the game waiting room here, right? I think we're just blocking out again and just like making them have something. Oh, they do have go again on this, so I guess they are gonna have something to follow up. But it's fine. So let's go ahead and just pay with, I guess, Warmongers in case we shuffle it back. Then we can block 6 here, and then maybe pay for Rune Chance if there are any on the back end. Oh, it does have Overpower. Yes. That is fine in that case. So then we just lose Salt or whatever. I guess we could have pitched the Salt over the Shuriken and maybe lost the Shurikens. This is all fine. I don't think it matters too much. TBH Silver Age should have been a tester to ban all generics. I think that's kind of reasonable. Like, maybe it's still coming down the pipeline. We'll see. I think that there's definitely some experimentation they can do with it. Like, maybe they try to ban, I don't know, Fate. And, like, I feel like Fate actually is maybe, like, the best ban, because not all decks run Fate, but all decks run Shelter and Sync anyways. Like, maybe there's some good data that they can do to, like, present that in an interesting way. I don't know. So let's hope they have a little bit of an off turn here. And maybe capitalize, do like a nice, decent surging line that we could be cooking. That being said, they do still have Fexing, so we still have a couple turns to fight through. I never mind D-Reacts like Citadel Suffering or Saving Grace or Soul Shield because at least they do something. Yeah, that's, I think, my biggest issue. Is like, I feel like if I'm playing Marlin and I just run into like 9 D-React that deck, I have to like play a bunch of turns. Like, none of my things hit. Kind of boring. I don't know. Like, yes, the class-based in D-Reacts I have like 0 problem with. I think that a lot of them are actually very well designed. Like, Pulsivize and Loft is really good. Like Soul Shield's really good. I'm trying to think of other ones. Yeah, Saving Grace is fine.
Rootbound Carapace?
Rootbound is boring when it's also paired with the other 9 D-Reacts. I don't know. Reckless Swing is fine. Rootbound is kind of interesting. Staunch is fine. Like, Staunch feels targeted, I guess, is like more than I'll say for like the other ones. I did not have to pop the Vexing here, which is also really bad. Yeah, we might be in the waiting for a turn forever kind of cycle here. They're also going to go again off this, which means we have to like block more. So I guess we skip the Rune Chance here. I don't know. Feels bad all around. I think we do. Everything feels bad. Maybe we just eat this and just hope they don't have to succumb, and then we just try to fire off this hand. I think that's the actual answer. We pretend succumb doesn't exist, and then we try to kill them. Full hand explosion. Yeah, I think I agree with that. Sorry, I was kind of like distracted by talking about how much I don't like 90 reacts, and then I kind of saw this hand was actually fine. Blood of the Water is overtuned a little bit, being a 0 for 6 that also functionally draws you a card, but at least it's not generic, is I guess what I'll say. Alright, we might just be dying here is the issue. I think we probably have to go for it, though.
Blood in the Water's fine.
Tegan says Blood in the Water's fine, so I'll trust Tegan on that one. Alright, I have nothing. Let's go for. Alright, so only issue with this hand is you do have to fight through a Face Purgatory, but fortunately for us, Face Purgatory isn't real and can't hurt us. I mean, it's kind of like whatever in this scenario. If we discard one of our blues, it's not the end of the world. Blood is fine because Gravy blocks like shit, and it's a 2-card 6 anyways. It's a 2-card 6 draw card, which is like, or sometimes draw card, which is like, okay, I think if Blood, wait, Blood in the Water does hit off the top of the deck, right? I'm not making that up.
It does.
Okay,
you have
cool.
to have something on.
Yeah, okay, so you have to have something on the top of the deck.
Yeah. Like you don't always have something on the top.
Isn't there a Gravy card that doesn't hit off the top of the deck? What am I thinking of?
They printed new ones in pen that don't.
No. There was one that like you played before that doesn't hit off the top of the deck. Am I imagining this?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, Tegan doesn't know what I'm talking about. I might be stupid. Haha. Alright. So we need to connect with this Gust Wave real bad. I wonder if this is also a Breaking Scales matchup. It could be, but running the extra blues seems kind of fine. Problem. Yep, that's pretty good. I guess the bottle might still be annoying, but yeah, not looking great for us here. The yellow 0 for... Is it the yellow 0 for 5 that I'm thinking of? Maybe it is. Alright, become the bottle. Save us. So we name this Descendant. Hope to hit with it. We can't shuriken it. But otherwise we're chilling, right? So we get Descendant. Maybe this matchup is like a good example of like why we want edge in some matchups. And they do give us 3, but we don't have the punish. Yep, and then... I mean, we get Arsenal Dishonor, but that doesn't really do anything against Vincent. How much... Yeah, they have 3 board. I mean, Dishonor basically does nothing, but we might as well Arsenal it, because I don't think it matters. Alright, good hand. Clearly. Okay, they're just sending Cole. Okay. Like actually kind of doable. Okay, wait. So we do pitch, or sorry, no. We have to banish. Crap. So we banish to Cole. Banish to become the bottle to Cole. Here on here. 1, 1, 1. Block. Dishonor. Arsenal. Not as good as it's gonna get, probably, but not super compelling. Alright, we need like the Vincent hand of all time here. Windcutter is so punishing at times, literally extra work breaking skills in some matchups. Like in this matchup, it's basically functionally the same, right? Or I mean, okay, so like in some matchups, it's definitely like pretty backbreaking. But like in this specific scenario, I don't think it actually much. So we should attempt to block this out, I think, right? So block here, here. They can cull, which is fine. Or I guess they can't cull because we didn't lose life. Now we fluster. Yeah, this game's still probably over, but there's some modicum of hope that I'm still holding out for maybe just like a terrible, terrible hand. It's definitely doable. Like, this is one of the scary matchups, I think. Like, this matchup, I think, got a lot worse after Pen, just also with, like, the new card, I think. Which you have, I guess we saw one copy of. It feels like they have, like, a lot more disruptive potential than they did before. Like, I think in this game, Windcutter was basically the same as Breaking Scales, if not, like, marginally worse, because I guess we have to, like, run the other shurikens, but, like, I think a lot of the times it is kind of fine. Oh, we'll kind of have to see. Is, I guess, good for us, but not significantly. We do still have a bonds we're cooking on an arsenal, so if we can just kind of stave off these last couple turns, maybe we're fine. Alright, so take this. They might want to call us here. I don't think we die, though. Or do we die? Oh, did I skip? Hold on, sorry. Did I skip all the rune chance? They might not want it. I might have actually. I meant to skip the first rune chant. That's okay. They want to accept the victory there. I think that's reasonable. What do they have left? They had an Alcuin Eulogy, so I think even then, yeah, even then I still die, right? Because this is 3 + 7. Big Cole. Okay, yeah, they still got us there, right? I think. Okay, I think that's fine. But anyways, I do love how everyone's writing off the new Vin card because it costs 4, and then it's now regarded as the power card. It's kind of crazy, right? It's kind of all it takes. I think this is a Null Rune Gloves matchup with Breeze Riders. Interesting. Maybe. I don't feel like the... Okay, so I don't feel like I actually would have needed the breaking skills, or the breaking skills at any point. I think it depends how you want to slot it. I know some people have also been running... So there are a couple decks that have been running the double cross strap, or like, yeah, this one. A couple of them have been running this, which I don't agree with necessarily. Like, giving up cross strap feels very strange to me. So I feel like that leaves either the glove slot, or it leaves a Kadachi, which also feels bad, or it leaves a like getting rid of the breaking scales. I feel like we never actually got an opportunity to really activate the scales that game. I don't know if anyone in chat was paying attention. I don't think we did. But correct me if I'm wrong. But anyways, I think that's like one of our worst matchups. So again, a lot of bad matchups tonight, which is fine. Like, I think this deck is still kind of got some issues currently going on. It feels like you're really good into the other aggro decks. Like, you're really good into Oscilio. I think you're pretty decent into Dio. What other like good? Like, you're probably pretty good into Phi as well, which is like kind of on the decline. Burden still seems rough. Gravy feels good. It kind of depends. Like, there's definitely some kind of interesting spread going on with this deck, but it still feels like it got some issues. Yeah, this deck eats aggro alive, for sure. Like, that's like the main reason to play this deck is like you destroy Oscilios, you destroy your Dash IOs, probably just you roll over like any warrior basically, of which there's not a ton around, but like they exist, I guess, at the ProQuest level. Yeah, Gravy is also real good. I think the Mario matchup's also really good for you, right? Because that's basically okay. So like, I played this deck at a ProQuest or an RTN like a couple months back, and this deck was like already pretty good in Mario. Like, you basically just so like the Mario matchup before was you flip the top 12 cards of your deck, and if your top 12 cards are better than their top 12 cards, then you win. Which a lot of the time, like most of the time, they are, because you also get to like tutor for cards if they just like let you hit. So like, I feel like your Mario matchup's like also very good, right? If Mario draws the disrupt every turn, you're cooked, but like they don't draw the disrupt every turn, right? Like they basically have like the warrior turns where they're just like sending like 0 for 4 on a dagger or whatever, and then they just like pass or whatever, right? Yeah, they block, like, you can't really just like disrupt as well. Like, the Mario builds like now are still doing the dagger thing where they're not like disrupting as much, so I feel like that still makes the matchup like pretty good for Katsu. I don't know. But anyways, thank you all for stopping by for the stream. I think I'm probably gonna wrap it up there. But again, this is my Katsu list. Again, probably still some work to be done. Like it seems like there's maybe a couple opportunity areas. Maybe typically with Jarl, I probably gotta figure out like what the sideboard is. I'm not like working too hard on this deck because I'm probably taking Marlin to ProQuest, but I think it's a pretty good starting point, or at least like how I would probably start building it. But I think there's also some pretty good edge builds out there, so don't discount them. I think there's still a lot of work to be done, and it kind of I think it's a deck that will definitely like kind of idle for a couple months while people try to figure it out. Like maybe we're waiting for K to leave, maybe we're waiting for a couple other decks to leave, and then like once I think someone breaks out with like a really good Katsu list and they like kind of refine the shell, I think this deck does have a lot of potential. I think this is still kind of in potential waiting room, just kind of how the meta is shaking out. Like I think Vincent on the uptick is pretty bad. But you do pretty well into like the other aggro decks, like Oscilio, we cook pretty easily, like Gravy, like we definitely have some good matchups with the deck. It's just kind of like I don't know. Some of the other matchups I think are a little bit more difficult. Like the disruptive matchups I think are quite challenging. But anyways, thank you all for stopping by. It was a really fun stream, and I'll see y'all next week. Oh yeah, there's a ban list on the 23rd as well, so that might maybe we'll get what we wish for. Maybe we'll get the Fate Foreseen ban. It's definitely possible. I still don't even know if that's like they'd have to really think about that ban pretty hard, I guess. Because Fate Foreseen, I don't know. That ban also has its own issues, and that it forces people to buy shelter, which is like I don't know. The whole printing a shelter to me was like a really big mistake. Anyways, thank you all for stopping by, and thank you all for the backseat coaching, especially. I think that was quite helpful in some matchups. But yeah, we'll probably be back for some Marlin gaming on Wednesday. I haven't fully decided what we're gonna do, but on Friday, I think we're gonna reassemble the Marlin Council. So if you're in we're gonna get some Marlin stuff done this week. But yeah, Nate, Taylor, and I, and Ben and I are probably gonna try to set up another Marlin call to kind of talk the latest things from calling Montreal because they all brought Marlin. But yeah, anyways, thank you all for stopping by, and I'll see y'all next time. So see you later.